Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV, home of the European champions.
Trust me,
Well,
trust me. Put respect on our names right now, man. Big up to all the Spurs fans, all my kings and queens, as per usual, man. And talk to us nice right now, because we have that W. Do you know what I mean? We've got that win. And yeah, it was a mad night, bro. When we won it. Feels like, well, it's almost a week away, isn't it? It was almost a week ago.
yeah, and people are not letting me enjoy it. They're not letting me enjoy it. Every YouTube show I'm watching, they're not letting me have it, man. I don't care about anything else right now. We have got a year, at least a year, to celebrate this. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me about Ange. Don't talk to me about Levy. I don't care right now.
For real.
But I suppose we're going to have to talk about it somehow. Anyway, so look, Ash and I were talking this week, and we said, you know what? We need to have it as a celebration show. This is the last one of the season. And we said we have to bring our fellow Spurs fans and chat about season as a whole, how they've been feeling this last week, and what next. All right, so I've pinned the link in the chat. So anybody that wants to come on, it is there. However, we've got some guests coming on. But Ash, first of all, how's your week been? I haven't even asked about you yet.
Bro, I've been blessed, man. It's been a bank holiday weekend, so, out every day, enjoyments, you know what I mean, city splashing, and yeah, man, the rest of it, man. And obviously, we were out for a celebration ourselves. We went to a 50th, that was cool. Met a few celebrity guys there, that was cool, man. We're all talking that. All things Spurs and that, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man.
Surreal moment, wasn't it? It's a real surreal moment, that was.
Yeah, that was.
Chatting to the guys about Spurs and everything. But it was a good time. It was a good time. But should we just bring out our first guest?
Yeah, bring him out, man. We ain't got long.
Conrad, you well?
Can you hear us, first of all? Well, we can't hear you. You sound like you're on mute, bro. You might have to take off the mute button.
Yeah. We good?
Yeah. There we are.
Man is good, fam. Listen, I was thinking today, I'm from Peckham, innit? And I feel like the last time we won a trophy, Peckham wasn't even gentrified like that. Do you know what I mean? That's how long ago it was. Like, man walked past the place that used to be the pub that I saw us win the League Cup in. You know what I'm saying? They don't even show football there anymore. But yeah, I'm gassed, man. I'm just like, I didn't know. I don't know if any of you, man, I'm sure you guys relate, obviously, but I didn't know how emotional like I would be.
Yeah.
100%. Until it happened. Like more, I've seen. This is the third cup I've seen in my life, innit? And I can barely remember the first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was speechless. Like, I just, them ones where you're like, man, they might see me cry.
Hey, facts, when I was going through the chats, I was going through people's videos. I was like, fuck I was on stream, losing my voice. Hey, it was mental.
I didn't know my voice could go that high anymore. You know them ways. Like, yeah, it was crazy, bro. Hugging my brother, hugging people I didn't know, and I loved it.
Yeah, that's fun, man.
So the question is, like, how's this whole week been for you? Like, on a serious note, like, have you been soaking it in, or have you started thinking about the troubles ahead?
I mean, I've been cussing my Arsenal brethren. I had to get that in. When I answer the phone, I just, answer it as European champion speaking. That's the energy I'm bringing. Like, I don't care. And it's like, yeah, man, like my brother put on a WhatsApp group, like, it's like, yeah, see you in the Champions League, sent from the 17th place, Yeah, do you know what it is? I'm trying not to really think about the future too tough, but I guess you have to, innit?
Yeah, with this club, we don't have a choice, do we?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go on.
Whose situation would you rather be in this season? Would you rather be in Manchester City's or Tottenham?
Oof.
And the reason why I've used Manchester City because they finished third. They obviously got to a cup final. They got knocked out by us in the Carabao Cup, and their Champions League campaign was pretty much awful.
No, I'll take our position because we've been that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? We've done that. Like I've seen that.
Can I ask you? Go on. I was going to ask a question on top of that because then I was thinking, right, does that mean that Ange is more? Well, he's definitely more successful than Poch, but I mean, are we saying Ange over Poch then? Because obviously, you just said that you'd rather take what we had this year over, we've had it before. We've had it with Poch. So technically, are we saying is it Ange? Are we Ange appreciating Ange? Like I don't know. It's a weird one.
You know what? Yeah. Ange did something that Poch never did. Ange didn't start Son. Yeah. And I was so nervous. And I love Son, right? Like we all do, innit? But like I was like, don't make the same mistake that Poch made. And I love Poch, do you know what I'm saying? But I think in that moment, Ange stood on business and was like, I'm just putting the best team forward. We're going to secure this trophy. And I felt even going into it, I felt a bit more confident we would win this definitely than I did in the Champions League final. Just personally. Yeah, I did. And I don't know why. I think it's just because, well, I guess we slapped Manu a few times, number one. And Liverpool was Liverpool in it them times. But also I just felt like the mentality was just a bit different. I know we've lost Bear. I know we have. But I don't know, man. It just felt a bit different. It felt like there was momentum, at least in the Europa League. I'm not talking about the Prem, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, Marlon, you're going to say something. I was going to follow up. Go on.
Yeah. I've lost my trail of thought.
I was going to say as well, right? Just on that. Do you think then, like, it's like we were saying backstage, it's a techie one because like I went to the game and Brighton, we lost 4-1. Yeah. Now, a lot of people were saying in the stadium, like, everyone was still happy, people were still singing. But I felt like when it went to 3-1, people in my seat, in my row, they kind of kept it moving. Do you know what I mean? And I said, you know what, 3-1, I don't want to see anything more. And I kept it moving as well. Do you think like the kind of the way we won, it kind of was a bit of a weird one? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
What, the way we won the final?
No, not the way we won the final, but the fact that we're 17th when we won the final. Did you feel away or you didn't care? Like you were like, you know what?
I ain't gonna lie, I don't really care that much. Like because do you know what it is? If in the last few years or however, like the last decade, we'd won like a couple things, you know what I mean? I would care a bit more. Like for instance, if we were Man U, basically we'd be Man U in it. So if we were Man U, I would care a bit more. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we won a couple trophies and we win another, but our league form is shit in it. But we were so starved of a trophy, bro. Like Banter FC, like that's all I really cared about. Like, yeah, it's not ideal to have finished where we finished. You know what I'm saying in the Prem, but like that was just a question that was going around, though, wasn't it? Would you trade 15th or 17th, and for be that but have a trophy or blah blah blah? And I was always like, yeah, because right now I just want a trophy. I just want us to experience going for something and winning it. And then using that as the kind of like, what do you call it? I can't think of the term, but you know what I mean? A platform,
a platform,
springboard. You know what I mean? So that was the most important thing. Is like, can we just get this winner's mentality and the players know what it feels like to be on a fucking open top bus? Do you know what I mean? Just, to see.
Did you go? Did you go to that? Did you go to the parade?
No, I wish I did. Yeah, I wasn't there. I watched it though.
Yeah.
It's a quick question. What is the improvement for Ange next season? What would you say would be the improvement on what's happened this season?
Okay, so this is what I would like to see. I think there was a style that was of football that he was playing in the tournament, and he said it, that he switches it up for the tournament. I would like to see that used a bit more in the Prem, because I feel like I ain't really seen that too tough in the Prem, but I've been seeing that in the tournament. Do you know what I mean? Being a bit more defensive minded just to secure the wins. I'm not saying we change who we are. Do you know what I mean? But people were always saying Ange ain't got a plan B, but we've obviously seen him have one. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like a bit less stubbornness, a bit more open-mindedness of using that. That's what I would like to see.
So why are you on the kind of like, if Ange goes, would you be mad, or are you on the side of like, rah, you know what, he needs to go? Like, where are you on that fence? Like, where are you on that side? That's the question.
Do you know what? I'm just gonna speak from the heart, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's about, man. Speak your mind.
I understand the arguments that some people have about like him wanting him to go, and I get it. And you know, the finish 17th ain't the one in it, but I would be sad in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the players have believed in him more than they've believed in the manager in a bit. Do you know what I mean? And there's times when I doubted their belief. I didn't think Maddison believed in him at a certain point. Do you know what I'm saying?
Same.
And you know, and I think he's really created unity there. He stood on business, even when it risked him looking a bit possibly foolish. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I wouldn't sign in my second season, but he was kind of sacrificing himself for that. And it would just be sad for man. 17 years and he does a trophy after saying he's going to get one, and not to see him even star us in the Champions League. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not saying we should just give him the whole season regardless. I'm not saying that, but I think just based off him winning something for us,
you kind of want to see where it goes, innit?
Yeah, he's kind of
earned the fan base are. They're kind of like you said, the platform. They want to see, like, you know, if we can like keep that energy, keep that winning mentality, keep that, because the players are clearly backing it. We've seen it all day. Like, we've seen Archie Gray come out, we've seen Romero come out and say it, we've seen Bergvall come out and say it, and obviously they're the younger ones. They're more impressionable, innit? So they're more likely to, like, they've never seen that before. So that's gonna gas them up even more. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Romero's obviously more senior. Madison's come out; he's more senior. So obviously, but despite like the divide in the fan base, the divide is, some people are like, no, the league is a barometer of where you should be. But the players, they don't hear what the fans are saying like that. They're in their kind of own bubble, and they're still buzzing off the actual win, I reckon. So I think that's what it is. But yo, Marlon, what are we saying? We're gonna keep it to like 5 minutes for each person.
Yeah. So
one last question then. But
last question.
One last, well, obviously there's a bit a links to Sane. Are you taking Sane, or are you Johnson for life, brother? Are you triple B up in there?
That's a techie one still.
Both of them have got similar like goal contributions in the league. So Sane's got 11, Brennan's got 11 in it. But I think Sane's got 5 assists and Brennan's got 3. But you know, there's not much in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay,
I'm gonna speak from my heart again. Yeah, some of you are gonna be more techie and know about the analytics better. Of course. I think Brennan Johnson deserves a bit more respect. I'm just saying, call him a tapping merchant all you want, but he gets the tappings. I don't care. I don't care how they go in. He does that. And I've seen him play a bit better throughout the pitch. You know what I mean? I've seen the heat map change. Do you know what I'm saying? I need him to be embraced. I don't care how much we paid for him. I'm not in Forest. That's nothing to do with him. Embrace this youth. It actually saddened me still to see how people treated man. And even, if we get people to shore up that position, to give man more competition. I mean, Odeberg's is like a good competition anyway, but like, whatever. But no, man. I have to keep Johnson in it because I feel like he's just proved it. And he's gone through like adversity, and I have to respect that. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what.
Big up Conrad, though, man.
Big up.
We're gonna have to get you back on as well, man. That was a big
man. Pleasure as always, man.
Appreciate you coming on, my broski, man.
All right, so I got to bounce now. I'll see you in a bit. Big up the man, then. All right,
big up.
Cool, man. All right, so our next guest.
Yes.
Phil, champions of Europe, no longer Phil Spurs.
Come on.
Talk to me, man. Talk to me. How you
Yeah,
feeling?
good to
How
see
you
you guys,
feeling
man.
about that win, man?
Amazing. Listen, no one can take this away from us. It doesn't matter what they say about the competition changing. Competitions always change every couple of years. Boy, I'm still on cloud nine. Every day I've just been sending banter into the group chats. It's been
As it should be.
we deserve this. Like, we've endured so much. So
Yeah,
actually to be
facts.
the guys who are poking fun and taking a mick, like I've just relished this opportunity. I've manifested it. I've been thinking about it for so long. Every day lead up to the final, I was just thinking about Son picking up the trophy. AI had the images of Son picking up the trophy. And then it happened. Every day I'm like, I can't believe that we've got over the hill. Crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm still in shock myself, bro. Sometimes you have to pinch yourself and think, "Right, did it really happen?" Do you know what I mean? But it's slowly sinking in, bit by bit. Was you at the parade?
Yeah, I was at the parade on Friday. I literally pinged it over from work quick. Got there about 5:30, and yeah, caught the bus in different locations, and then
Nice,
ended up staying for them.
nice.
Lifting the trophy.
What was your highlight of the parade, though? What was your highlight?
I'd be lying to you if, considering everything with Ange, when he dropped that line about the third season always being better than the second, it got me for that moment.
Yeah.
It got me for that moment. I was going mad, and a couple hours later, I calmed down. But that was I think because we were waiting. What is he going to say? Do you know what I mean? Amongst all the criticism of pundits and all of that, and when he dropped that, that was just another mic drop moment.
Weird question that I'm going to throw out there. It's a bit random, but who's been your player of the season, man? I haven't really thought about it.
You know
Who's been
what?
your player of the season? A bit of a random one.
Yeah, that's such a really good question. I think I would have, like, until the injury, I would have said Bergvall. But I guess because he wasn't in the fight, like, we'd say he was sort of across the board. But I don't know. I'd say Bergvall, but in relation to the final and a player that's maybe been all the way through it, I might. It might have to, even though he's missed a lot of the season, it might have to be Van der Ven. That clearance of the line.
I hear it still.
Like, we're a different team when he's not on the pitch. We are, in many ways. So that's a bit of an abstract one, you know. But
Yeah, no, it was a kind of question that would trip up most people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've had an injury-ridden season. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I think, and I think a lot of people are gonna like the stat in it. What I saw online, something about, I think our back five has been together this season only, I think, 7 times.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying 7 times. So I'm not saying they won all of those 7 times. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? So I'll throw a quick caveat in that. But just on that, innit, obviously, it always comes back to this tone, innit? Like, you know, where do you sit on this kind of debate with that whole look, he's got it down. Manu's got it there. Where are you now with Ange?
So anybody that, hold on, before you carry on, but anyone that wants to vote, if you're Ange in, type in hashtag Ange in while we're doing this stream. If you're Ange out, hashtag Ange out on the stream.
Yeah.
And if you're undecided, hashtag SPK, Spurs Kings, if you're still undecided. But yeah, Phil, carry on.
Yeah, so it's a frustrating one because I think I've had days when it feels really clear, and then I think a bit longer, and then I sort of buckle a bit. But basically, I think if you're going to keep Ange, I would rather part ways now, personally.
Yeah.
Because I would love for us to end on a high. I don't want it to turn sour. Do you know what I mean? And actually, I think to leave now, though it is tricky to figure out who would come in and all that kind of stuff, feels like it would be the best thing for me. If you did keep Ange, I think you definitely need to bring him a higher level of coaches that he can listen to, and ones that can actually adjust some of our players' game. So actually take Odebear to the next level. Take Johnson.
Just on that though, before you go any further, like to improve players. But what would you say is like the biggest tactical flaw that kind of worries you if we are to keep Ange, like going into next season? What would you say that he needs to kind of ease up, because you know he's quite stubborn at times?
Yeah, I think to be honest, the wing backs push so far up the pitch that at times there's countless times when, in terms of the gaps that were in the midfield, there would just felt like there was no plan. So there's like way too many overloads, and so teams just punch us on the counter. But I think with the Europa League campaign, he showed that we can dig deep when it's a choice basically. And for whatever reason, in the Premier League, I feel like he chooses to stick to sort of the one way of playing.
Do you think he'll put that? So everyone has always said he's never adjusted, but he adjusted for the Europa League campaign. Do you think there'll be times next season now he will use what happened in the Europa League in the Premier League, or will it be exactly he will go straight back to Ange Ball for next season?
Yeah, my worry is the latter. That's my worry. But I think I wonder if there's a better level of coaches around him that they can sort of try and impact the match a bit more. If he's going to be, I'm a bit think for domestic cups, it might be really useful. But we need both. We need the best of both. I think now that we have achieved the first step in domestic cups, I don't know if we wouldn't want to replicate this again. Do you know what I mean? In terms of we suffering for the sake of a cup. We've now reached that objective, but we need to be good in both. Like, I don't think that one is even up for debate.
Do you think we can be good in both? Because the reason why I'm asking this question is Spurs under this ownership have never been good in both. It's either been one or the other. The 2 times we've won the trophy, you look at the time that we won the Carabao Cup, we were bottom with 2 points, couldn't win a game. We've come to this season, we've won a trophy, but we're 3rd from bottom, and we've literally lost 22 games, which is the record for a team not to be relegated with.
Yeah, horrendous.
So and everyone's, I can see everyone's waiting for Ange out right now in the chat. But what do people want? Do they want the trophies? And this is the question for you, actually. Do you want the trophies or do you want the league position? Because everyone chased out Conte because of the football, but actually he was produced in the league position.
Yeah.
Do Spurs fans know what they really want is the question.
I'm not so sure, if I'm honest. If, before the season, of course, I'm sure everyone would have said the 17th we'd have got Europa. No one would say no.
No one would have said no. But we hadn't lived it.
Yeah, I mean, we just felt it. You know what I mean? But actually, moving into a second season, if someone said, if you were to not qualify for Europe and win an FA Cup, I don't know anymore now that we've achieved Europa. So, what do we need? I think we need stability. Do you know what I mean? I think in a sake where this is the most extreme situation we've ever experienced in the league for the sake of a cup, that can't run. If we finish 10th or 9th, I think we go, you know what? I don't think there maybe even be a debate. We go, it was a bit of an off season. We'd probably point towards injuries, and actually goes to injuries that kind of affected us. But I think the issue for me is when the players came back and we still couldn't quite pick up a flow. And even so, injuries, affects every team. But in terms of the reinforcements that we had available to try and sustain it, they just couldn't keep up the pace. I think relying on the back 4 to stay fit an entire season is not realistic. Do you know what I mean? So something has to give.
So do you think then, like with reinforcements then, like we've been linked to Sane, Rashford's just come out and he's just said he only wants a Champions League side, so that rules Aston Villa out, and apparently Manchester United want 40 million from him. So that straight away you've got 2 players that are technically wingers. Do you know what I mean? That kind of system. We've been linked with centre backs, and Cardoso's obviously the defensive midfielder that we've been touted to get. With those additions, do you think that could help? Not help. Do you think that would turn Ange's fortunes over? Because he's talking like he wants to go for the league. He's not even talking about season 3 is better than season 2, and that's obviously Europa. So the only way to outdo Europa is either to win the Premier League or win Champions League. It's not our words, but it's what he's saying. So is that realistic in your eyes?
Yeah, I think it's realistic if you sign players with experience and confidence. I think we've signed the youth players, we've signed the prospects. It's all really nice, but it's time for us to try and sign players that actually have a pedigree, that can actually play a decent amount of games without getting injured. as much to actually lift our horizons. I think we've limped over the line. Everything's gone the way it's needed to go for Europa. But in terms of the league, I think though I really enjoy the young players that are in the team, and I think they've got an exciting future ahead of them. You've got to get that experience in the squad. You've got to have people who understand what's required to pick up a team and take them to the next level. It's like an example, Perisic was quite old, but he had it. You know what I mean? He had the knack and the experience, and of course he got injured, which was a shame. But and confidence. We've learned from Timo what happens when you sign a player that has experience but not the confidence, and it's
what Timo's now won the Champions League and Europa League, yeah,
crazy and World Cup,
World
Cup, crazy career.
Yeah, mental, man. You got anything else to say, Marlon?
No. Just thank you for coming on, Phil. As you said, Champions of Europe. It's been a blessing to hear how you feel about things. Man. But do we trust or not?
You know what? A bit of me just wants it done so we can crack on with the transfer window, because I'm already getting a bit nervous about the sort of domino effect of links and all of that. I don't want the ones that are interested in going, well, the ones that the fans are interested in going away because they're taking too long.
Yeah, because that'll turn toxic otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah. Phil, been a pleasure.
Big up, guys.
I'll get you back on soon, man.
Yeah, get you back on soon.
Definitely good to see you guys.
Enjoy your sleep, man.
Yeah. Come on, you Spurs. I'll sleep well.
Let's bring on the next guest. Let's see if I can do this right. Kyle.
Yes, Kyle. Big up.
Yes, guys. What's happening?
There, man.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man, after that Europa win?
Bro, so happy, man. Like the first 2-3 days, it's pure relation. Like, bro, like, obviously I told you it. Like I was in Italy celebrating my anniversary, 1 year anniversary, 1 year wedding anniversary. And bro, we watched it in like an English pub.
Yeah.
Few Tottenham fans in there, a few United fans in there, but imagine they're all American and I didn't see no English United fans. Bro, Spurs are massive. Like, we're massive.
Hold on, Cole. Just 1 second, Cole. For the wife allowing you to go and watch Spurs on your anniversary week, yeah, she's a
real one.
I'm telling you now, keep her.
Yeah, bro, Marlon, hear the wickedest truth. She had no choice. She knows what time it is.
Yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah, no.
She knows what time it is. Trust me.
Make sure she's not watching, though. Make sure she's not watching.
I'm sending the link still.
So when we played Liverpool, it was like my 7th year anniversary.
Was it?
And she knew where I was going to be that night. She knew. So you know what? Fair play. That's why I said she's a keeper.
There you go. Gets like that, man.
But carry on. Yeah, carry on.
But no, literally those first 3 days, I was just on Instagram watching all the reels, the videos, the memes, the players' reactions, the videos in the changing room, everything, the parade, obviously. So imagine I've flown back from Italy on the Friday, right? So I landed in Gatwick 5:30, fuming. That's the same time the parade starting, right? I'm thinking, even my missus has said to me, this is how real she is. She's like, babe, like, drop your bags, I'll take the bags home. You get on the train, like, you can make it. I'm like, babe, nah, it's all long. Like, by the time I get there, it's all 7 o'clock in that. It's all finished. So, yeah, I said, nah, do you know what? I'm going to kind of just, watch it tomorrow on the news and that. So, yeah, man, that's what we did. So, but nah, listen, the emotion, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Did you expect, when we got to January, after the January transfer window, did you expect that you were going to be, in May, Spurs were going to be lifting that Europa League trophy? Did you have any confidence? Look, we were still in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup, so we haven't even played Liverpool yet. We still had Villa to play. We were drawn against Alkmaar at the time as well. And we were literally losing every game. We had all these injuries. Where was your head at the end of that January transfer window?
Bro, I had no faith. Zero faith. Like you said there, the Alkmaar game, that was it for me. That was the game I thought, we can't beat Alkmaar away. We ain't gonna beat. You know what I mean? I'm thinking there's Lazio to come, Bilbao in the final. No. It's not happening. You know, it's not happening. Like every difficult game that we actually had in the Europa in the league phase, we crumbled. Roma at home couldn't even do them. Galatasaray away folded. You know, so I'm thinking, how are we really gonna do it in the big games when it really matters? I had zero faith, Marlon. Zero faith. I was turning at that precise moment, sort of January, February. I switched to Ange out.
Yeah.
You know, that was me. Like I had a lot of sympathy for him, like in the sort of winter months, November, December, with the injuries and whatnot. But I saw a man that weren't willing to change. So I'm thinking, if you can't adapt in Europe, we're gonna get found out. And ironically, he did. So, you know, props to him. Yes, I get that. But yeah, no, I had zero faith to answer your question, bro. But here we are.
What about the final? Once we got to the final, where were you at? Considering it was Man United and we'd already beaten them 3 times.
Good question. Different story. So when we got to the final, bro, I was so positive, so optimistic, and I don't know if you guys believe in it, but man, bro, I told everyone we're gonna win it. Like, you know, when you speak something and believe it.
Yeah.
I spoke it into existence, but I'm not saying it was just me. I know loads of fans did it. I'm sure United fans probably did it, or probably not. Like, when you think about it, us as a fan base, we were probably more confident. I don't know, actually. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a bit of both. You're right. It's a bit of both.
It's a bit of both, isn't it? Because there's some United fans that know how shit their season was, but they're just going off of, it's the DNA, it's the heritage. Bro, that don't mean, this is football, bro. This is 11 players against 11 players on the pitch. Cool, it might have some mental sort of impact on the players, on the fact, but bro, when it comes down to it, it's 11 players against 11 players. And like you said there, we'd already beaten them 3 times already this season. So all the players should have like immense reason to be confident, right? And us as fans as well. United ain't the same United. Ange's never lost against United. So going into it, no, I was super confident, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't a great game, but bro, I do not.
Who cares?
Bro, like, I know everyone's had it. Everyone's like, it was a shit game, innit? Who cares? Bro, does anyone remember fucking, sorry, pardon my French, United Chelsea 2008 Champions League fight? Bro, the game was shit, bro. The game was shit.
Right.
These finals are shit. All finals are not good. So when it comes down to it, who remembers that? But people just want to throw dirt.
Yeah, do you know what? I think if I remember correctly, the worst Champions League final was, and I remember it was at Old Trafford. Was it Juventus AC Milan?
Oh, yeah, 2003.
Yeah, 0-0. Went to penalties, awful. But people want to complain about this game, and I thought, nah, that game was worse. Everyone was falling asleep. This is recency bias, man. Recency bias.
Recency bias, exactly. It's a Spurs bias. It's because it's Tottenham. If that was Liverpool in the fight, bro, do you think anyone would have said anything? Because they all love Liverpool. It's because it's Tottenham, bro.
Let me ask you a slightly different question. Where are you on this whole Romero situation? Because the fan base were like, nah, Romero, get him out. He only plays for Argentina. Like, Atletico have come in for him. Yeah, he's a Simeone needy type of player.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's come out today, not today, but over the last couple of days, and he's talking a bit different. He's talking like, right, he want to stay. He want to be here. Yeah. So
yeah.
So where are you like, so you say sell Romero or?
Nah, not at all. Listen, keep him if we can. Keep him if we can. Like, listen, I'm one of them where, like, you see where all these sort of interviews were popping out of the woodwork on Twitter and that, and people are like, oh, Romero saying this, Romero saying that. Bro, things get mistranslated. You know, no one can speak Spanish. How you really know what he's saying? Like, the fans really trying to say what he's saying. We don't know what he's saying, really. You know, you might be saying the odd word flirting with the Madrid or Atletico, and we're taking it as gospel. But it's like, bro, of course, we're 17th in the league. Of course he might want to jump ship. He's a World Cup winner, top quality defender. I don't blame him for putting out the feelers, you know, for Florentino Perez. Yeah, I'm interested. I don't blame him. But listen, winning a trophy helps. So being in the Champions League helps. We're there now. So listen, if he loves or likes life in London, if his family's happy, bro, we're in the Champions League, we've won a trophy. What more does a top player want? You're living in London, your family's happy. You get me? Your kids are speaking English in school. Like, bro, these things are important. We're in the Champions League. He's got a great rapport with the current manager, but not that I think that should mean that Ange should stay, because I've heard fans saying, but if Ange stays, then Romero stays. Bro, I don't want Romero that much. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And I might sound a bit, a bit sort of.
Speak your truth, bro. Speak your truth.
Pardon?
Speak your truth, man. Speak
Bro, but that's how I feel, man. Because if we get into it, like, and yeah, I'm not. Yeah, anyway, we might get into that. But about Romero, keep him if we can. But if 80 mil comes in for him, whether that be from Atletico, accept it. Truthfully, because he's not. When you look at the cold-hearted facts, is he fit all of the time? Is he? Can he be a liability? Yes, he can. Like, don't forget them performances against Wolves away. Like, don't forget them rash sliding tackle trying to get sent off, bro. Like, even in the final, we done a mad tackle on the halfway line. Do you remember? Gave him a free kick. I swear that was So I'm thinking, what are you doing? So he's one of those players that he divides opinion. Yes, you love him on your team. He was immense in the final. I love him. I do love the guy. But as I said, if a big money bid came in for him, and he wanted to go and he was putting out the feelers, isn't it, bro? Sell him.
Oh,
but you must stay.
You basically, you sound like you're Ange out, innit? So we've been linked with obviously Paratici coming back, and there's been links now to Gasperini now. Gasperini's the latest one on the
the Atlanta guy, yeah?
The Atlanta guy, innit? So or you say, what type of guy are you looking for, or manager, sorry? Would you want someone like that, or would you prefer like a younger coach? Like, where's your head at in terms of like with the whole Ange situation?
Good question. In terms of the type of manager that I'd want to see instead of Ange, if he does go, I'm not into this whole foreign Italian manager coming in and no, taking time to adapt. Give me a Prem-proven manager.
Okay.
And I know these were the sort of names that we were linked with before we even won the Europa. So it might seem like, bro, like we should be aiming for bigger things now. But bro, Marlon's shaking his head like, bro, don't say it. But bro, I'm thinking.
Yeah, go on, say it, bro.
Yeah, cool. So my first choice, believe it or not, Thomas Frank. Okay. My first choice, Thomas Frank. My second choice, Glasner.
Right.
Glasner might be unrealistic. Might be more unrealistic because he might want to see out the season in the Europa with Palace. Done a great job. But the reason why those two managers in particular, because I truly believe that the players that we have at our disposal would fit better in a free, basically with a back three with the wing backs. Porro and the doggy are wing backs, and we're trying to, shuffle them in as inverted fullbacks, bro. Like, that work for the first 10 games. That is not that's not their style. That's not where they excel. So yeah, Thomas Frank would be my first choice. Yeah, Glasner. Anyone that's Prem-proven, personally. If you can't get those two, I wouldn't mind taking a stab at a young Xavi, And I know that's a bit left compared to what I just mentioned, but at least it's similar to Ange ball, and it's expressive, it's sexy, so, got links with Barca, you might get a young Lamar off the, you get me? Off the little BT, you never know. So, yeah, so those would be my top three options. But yeah, like, if we're getting into Ange, I'm just...
Do you think he deserves Super Cup, though? Do you think he deserves to be in charge for the Super Cup on August 13th?
No, I don't. Because I hear what fans are saying, and I'm glad that I'm on this tonight with someone like you, Marlon, per se, because I've heard you on the pods recently, and you're quite balanced, and you kind of, dare I say, flip flop. You're now, you're now, dare I say, Angie. You're more, give the man a chance. He deserved this shot. Yeah. I hear it, but I don't want that to be of the detriment of what's really good for Tottenham long term. Like, I feel like,
but can I ask a question on that? Just to add, and this is why, if we were to sack him, what does that say to the next manager?
It says don't finish 17th. It's telling the next manager we have standards.
But does that mean no cups? Because if he doesn't win, say the next manager comes in and finishes 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, then goes back to 3rd but wins nothing, will fans start to get itchy like we did with Poch, where it's never quite over the line? but we're finishing in good league positions. Conte finished fifth, was fifth when he got sacked, was a couple points off fourth, but the football wasn't great, but still wanted him out. Does this mean then that as a fan base that we can't sit there and ask for trophies when at the moment there's a manager, I know he's not done well in the league and I completely get it, right? And I'm completely on everyone. I get if Andrew sacked tomorrow, I wouldn't really care less. However, he's gone and won us probably one of the best, he's given us one of the best moments that we never saw coming. Yes, he's flip-flopped on what he has said. Don't get it twisted. But what does it say to the next manager if we go and sack Ange and everyone's demanding trophies again?
Do you know what I think that says to me, bro? Listen, first and foremost, I think by Ange winning the Europa, it buys whoever the next man is, even if it is still Ange, it buys us a few years with regards to trophies. We're not expecting to win another trophy next year. We've just ended a 17-year drought. Bro, we're good for another 6-7 years. Like, do you know what I mean?
I get you.
You know what I mean? Just as, when the drought started getting into the teens and the late teens, and yeah, it was too much for us. It was too much for us as fans to take. So we were super desperate for a trophy. So, like I think Conrad or Phil said it before, at the start of the season, we would have all said yes, 17th in the trophy. But we would have only said that this season. Now we've got the trophy. We ain't going to say that again.
Of course. And on that bit, I do agree.
The league is your bread and butter. So a cup, bro, like anyone can win a cup, bro. Look at Palace. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't feel like winning a cup as great as a feeling as last Wednesday was. I don't think that should be held as a barometer to like how well we are doing. Like the league is your bread and butter. Like, what does winning the Europa do for us? All right, cool. Puts us in Champions League. Are we going to win the Champions League next year? No. So realistically,
you never know with Ange.
Have you seen his record in the Champions League, bro?
Yeah. Marlon was the one that brought that to my attention when we were getting him in the first place.
There you go. So we've just now left the competition that we've won. Obviously, we're all happy for that. But realistically, what's next? So to answer your question about the next manager, I do think genuinely, if we saw 3 to 5 years of sustained challenging for the top four, being back as a renowned top six club like we are, challenging, competing, not getting knocked out of the first rounds of the FA Cups and the Carling Cups and whatnot, challenging, I think we would be happy with that. Because what you might be forgetting is the league is your bread and butter. That's 38 games. The Europa is once every 2 weeks in the winter, and it's a big break. Bro, Europa, it's a bonus. So now you're getting in Champions League. You're playing against Bayern. You can't play Lancashire against Bayern in the league phase. So, and I know that might bring us on to Levy, because Levy does need to invest into the squad if we are to, do bits in both the league and the cups per se. But yeah, one point that I do want to make, right? And I can see it in all fans that have flipped. Like we're being too emotional. You need to take the emotion. We're being too sentimental. We are.
What are you doing to me, man? I need to be emotional. It was emotional. This week has been so. Look, I get it. But it's been. What happened on Friday? I'm not going to say Wednesday, because Wednesday wasn't the highlight for me. It was Friday, and seeing that amount of Spurs fans, and for me, it was the amount of love that we all showed. I've been doing this YouTube now for I don't know how long. And it's divided. It has been divided, and on it's flipped on. The managers have been different, this, that, and the other. But on Friday, I felt that it was the first time I felt we were all together in one place, going, "We're united. Yeah. This is us. We're gonna win." And then as soon as that trophy thing got on, everyone's talking about Ange's future, and it was like, oh, can I not just enjoy this? Because for how cruel football is, I'm gonna sit there and say this now: Arsenal winning something next year. Because football's not that kind to Tottenham. It's not that kind. So I'm going to enjoy this moment because I can see that happening. But
around the corner, I know. Yeah.
But is it just a case of that's the reason why we are, because it was such an emotional experience? Can we just look? Posh is available next year as well, so can we just enjoy it for a year?
Do you know what? I'm not. The thing is, if you was to ask me on a scale of how much are you Ange out to how much are you not Ange in, how much are you sort of willing.
The question is, would you be disappointed if, I don't know when the season starts, but if in August, it comes to August and he's the man in charge of that first Premier League game, would you be disappointed?
It's a great question. I think there's so many caveats to that. I wouldn't be pissed off with this or heartbroken. No, of course not. Listen, as you said, he's delivered most of us fans the best moment of our footballing life supporting Tottenham, like most of us young ones anyway. So I wouldn't be pissed off with it, like pissed off with him still being there, of course. But I feel like if he does stay, like I said, then it brings us back to Levy. Levy's going to need to back him. So I think it all depends on how the window goes by August the 13th or whenever the Super Cup is.
Yeah.
But just in the back of my head, if he is still here, I will just know how this. I don't want to say no, so I don't want to sound like a know-it-all. How I think the season will go with Ange still here.
No, you're not alone. You're not
alone. Trust me, you're not alone.
Well, what's it called? I'm gonna have to wrap it because there's quite a few people waiting in the wings still. We need to come back on and have a chat. It's meant to be,
we'll have another chat.
We're calling still, so big up, Carl, man.
Thank you guys.
And we're gonna cut it up. Yeah, we're gonna chop it up real soon, man.
Well, Carl, thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Big up. Bring on the next one, man.
Oh, where's he gone? He was just there. AB Fizzy's offline. Let me reply. Let me.
Oh, he's gonna have to wait. Then he's gonna have to wait if he's not ready. Other people.
Oh, no, there he is. He's back. Just in the nick of time.
I can't hear anything.
Oh
no. Sorry, man.
Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, we can hear you, but it sounds crackly as well. All right, let him sort that out.
Wait,
Bring the next person on.
Should I come out and come back in?
Yeah. All right, let me bring on who was next. Let me bring in, do you know what? Let me bring on the man that brings a lot of trouble. Come on.
Hey, you know what? I was thinking he's gone missing. I ain't seen him for a minute.
You know he went missing because we lost all their games, but he was like, I'm going to come back when we win the Europa League, like I said. Him that stupid. Go on, Orion. Come on. What have you got to say? Because I know in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, I told you so. However,
no. Reason I come on is because, like, I said to you, Maron, can you hear me?
I can. Carry on. Let Ash sort out his stuff.
Yeah.
No way.
So there's I was just repeating myself. But the reason why I'm on, especially now, is because I have to say, like, it was really nice seeing yourself and Ash jumping for joy, laughing, even seeing Alex laughing. He didn't know where he was.
Box office forgot himself, didn't
he? Yeah.
He forgot his whole persona.
Yeah, he didn't know what to do. But that's what it was all about. And personally, like, I thought that Spurs were going to win. I just had a feeling. It was against United. I even said a guy in work who supported United, I said, you know, when United had to come back against Lyon, beat Atletico Bilbao, I said, yeah, I would, as a Spurs fan, I'd rather have United in the final. Spurs have beaten them. They know how to play them. So basically, watching the match when Spurs won, and as I said, like, I think I texted you, Maron, you know, and I would have texted you too, Ash, because you two are the first things I thought about, because all during the game with them thinking, right, fuck, you know, that stream you guys had in January when you were both mentally exhausted, absolutely fucking mentally exhausted. And I thought, you know what, winning this trophy, the 17th position, yeah, people can talk about that all they want, but the relief, and that everyone felt that. It was just a relief. The players felt it, and I think it actually made it a little bit sweeter. Spurs finished 17th, but yet still in the Champions League and won a trophy. And I've actually watched some Arsenal videos of YouTubers, and they are gutted. They don't care if Spurs finish 17th. All they care about Spurs won a trophy. Angie's done it in 2 years. And at the start of every season, what was the conversation? Spurs need a trophy. Don't care what it is, Spurs need it. Angie's done it. So the smiles seeing the smiles on fans' faces, seeing the parade, it was like, yeah, that's what it's all about.
So Oren, what do you say to the people, well, us included, have said it's been a detriment to the league, and the league campaign should not have been as poor as it was?
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. Absolutely. Like, 17th is not acceptable. let's clear that up. But it was for a reason, and the reason was the sacrifice. And you have to say, like, despite what Angie said about winning things out in the second season, the man has fucking balls, and he must have some voodoo shit going on, because this is what he's convinced. He's convinced Daniel Levy to sacrifice the league to win a trophy that will get them in the Champions League. Because every manager before, their job was to get Spurs in the Champions League. Winning the trophy was the bonus. And I think a lot of, like, Conte, Jose, all them, they just went, as long as we get Spurs to the Champions League, that's good enough. That's what we expected. And then that pushed the narrative back onto Daniel Levy. It's like, he doesn't care about trophies. Mm-hmm. Every protest, profit before glory. And I'm thinking, right, surely if you're a manager, you should be good enough to win both. Angie decided, right, yeah, I'm going to take responsibility, convince Daniel Levy to sacrifice the league in January, and basically delivered his promise. Because Daniel Levy is a win-win, right? He's got Champions League, which he wants. He's got a trophy. And think about the profit that he's going to make. Finally, he's going to make, well, not him, but Spurs are going to make so much money from this.
If he gets rid of Ange, because obviously they've gone on holiday and they haven't cleared up the situation yet, do you expect... Actually, would you turn on Levy? Would you turn on him if he sacked Ange, knowing the trophy that he's
delivered? Yeah,
that's why it's not going to happen. I don't know where this story came from, but, like, again, it's funny because sitting back, it's like, right, Daniel Levy's going to sack him after winning a trophy. Daniel Levy would have sacked Ange in January. He sacked a manager a week before a cup final, right? He sacked Conte. He's not afraid to sack managers and bring new ones in. So in January, he had a chance to sack Angie. Every opportunity.
There's more to that.
So much noise, right?
There was more to it. When he had choice to sack Ange in January, the biggest problem he has is that, from what can I say what I heard? Ryan Mason said no. None of the coaching staff wanted to take it, and no one was available. Mm-hmm. Nobody wanted the job at the time, and it kind of went. Levy was stuck in a rock and a hard place. Yeah. Now, yes, I do believe he had to stick with his guns, and he did. He didn't. He probably could have sacked him after Leicester. I think Leicester was probably the biggest turning point for every football Spurs fan this season. But when you looked at it in the bigger picture, he should have probably sacked him then. But he went, you know what? He's still in the cup, and that was the one thing I gave him. I said, Ange, you've got to give him the cups. No matter what's happening, you had to give him the cups. Yes, I lost my faith after Leicester, but we'd just been knocked out by Villa and Liverpool around that time as well. Yeah. So I was my head was gone. But in that case, did Levy just kind of get lucky in the part of the situation that Ange was able to keep his job? And Ange said, and you're right, I reckon Ange had to convince him, because this is what he's come out and said, I want to concentrate on the cups and not concentrate on the league. And Levy's probably gone, all right, let's see how you do. Especially with all the protests that are going on, because all Ange did was take all the pressure off Levy for the whole of those last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. And that's, again, that paid credit, because we've seen managers before, even Poch basically, had to go at Daniel Levy on the board, and Angie didn't. And I think that also helped them. Now, whether Levy was stuck, Levy's a businessman, so no matter what, it was a win-win. If Angie went on and lost, sacked him, had every reason to do it. But then if he kept Angie, and Angie wins, right? It's like it's a win-win for him. It was the first. I think Daniel Levy's or Angie went in to Daniel Levy and gave him an alternative and say, right, we can sacrifice the league, but I can guarantee you we'll win the Europa League. And if we don't, I'm gone. I have no excuses.
Do you think he actually said that to him? Do you think Levy was okay with saying, all right, we're going to sack off the league, or do you think Ange was freestyling and said that? Because I can't imagine.
This is
sack off the league, because that's a real high risk.
It is, but that's the thing. It's the dare to do, and the motto is, in January. A lot of people are discrediting, when Angie said this, but this is the same man who said, "I always win something in my second season," and he's delivered it. So basically, when he said that, he was ridiculed for it, but he's done it. personally, I think that
But
this.
just on that, Ange just said a lot of things. Yeah, he got that one correct, but Ange
Yeah,
said a lot of things that
but
contradicted himself. Because if you go back to the Manchester City game where he goes finishing wherever was and winning a trophy below 10th was not successful. Asked him this year, and he's gone, "No, I'm successful." That's completely two different contrasting stories.
Yeah, everyone says things back then and then contradict, but I do think that, like, you have to remember as well that he said, and this is Ange's toughest season. He's already said that the toughest season he's ever endured, you know, and he expected it. But the point is, it's like, I think for something like this to be pulled off, I think everything had to be set in stone and planned. When to use Van de Ven, when to use Romero. I mean, he didn't, when Spurs went through in the semi-finals, he didn't play Van de Ven or Romero until that week. So everything, I think, was planned. The coaches knew, the players knew, and I think the players have came out and said it as well. They all knew. And maybe that's why in the league, the players would be like, right, it's not really about the league, it's about the European Cup. So we need to keep fresh for that. But that's the thing, is at the end of it all, those scenes that everyone's seen surpasses anything that I think a lot of Spurs fans ever seen. And that's all that matters at the end of it. Despite all the fucked up shit, the league positions, Spurs are still in the Champions League, and Spurs could play in the Super Cup, or are playing in the Super Cup.
And could win a trophy.
And could win another trophy. So I don't. Yeah. And
do you think we could beat Inter Milan or Barcelona in a Super Cup final?
PSG. Well, that's the thing. I didn't think so, but then I read a comment that there was the FIFA World Cup. I didn't know that was happening.
Yes.
So basically, both of these teams are playing in until July. So there's a chance. But the thing is, as well, is that we all talk about recruitment, because I know that right now Spurs fans are, of course, rightfully so, in the bubble and the zone, but eventually become, is Levy going to back him? Look what he did with Poch. But that's the difference now. Ange has shown Daniel Levy that he can win a trophy.
But he's also shown him that he can lose 22 games in a season.
Yeah, 22 games, yes. Though, again, there was a reason behind it, and you have to take into account the injuries. So more than ever before, if Levy needs proof that he needs to buy players or get players that can be, say, equally as good as the first team, this is his proof. Because
injuries were only for when the injuries really hit was November, December, January, February. March is when them players came back.
Yeah.
So the problem he's now got is, and this is how I'm looking at it, if we're going to make Champions League, he's going to have to rotate some of these players. He's going to have to do it more. He basically played one style in Europe and one style in the Premier League, and he kind of left the players that probably couldn't play that style exposed in the Premier League, and he kind of just brushed it off like it was nothing. And this is why a lot of people go, the fact that the last team we beat was Southampton, and that was how many weeks ago. The Premier League, we played some poor teams in there, and we shouldn't have really, really been losing to them, no matter what team he puts out, if they are that good. But some of the tactics that we saw in those games was baffling for all of us. We all saw it. So, will Daniel Levy bring Ange in the room and say, "How are you going to stop 22 games?" Because we had injuries the season before, and the same thing happened. We're going to have injuries again next season. Do we have to sit there? Are we going to sit there when the injuries happen again in November, December, when we lose the Van de Ven, when we lose probably, just say Romero is staying, we lose both of them because they both happen to get injured at the same time. It happened the season before. When we start losing the other players that we've had, do we then have to sit there and go, "No, it's fine, he's got injuries again"?
Well, hopefully not, because they'll have the players to cover those players.
But we've got them. We've got Dragusin and...
Yes, but then Dragusin got injured. Yes, but
what happens if those players get injured again?
That's the thing, though. That's the thing.
We've seen the last 2 seasons.
You're talking about. So basically,
it's the reason. But I'm not basing this off ifs and buts. I'm basing this off I've had 2 seasons in a row now, and he's had probably the exact same amount of injuries for 2 seasons in a row. So I'm going to sit there and think, actually, it's going to happen for a 3rd season.
Yeah, you can. But that's what I'm saying. It's like if Romero stays hypothetically, if Romero, Van de Ven, Donzo, and Dragusin, 4 centre backs all get injured, I mean, do Spurs go out and buy another 4 centre backs or another 2 just
No.
in case?
No. It's not about buying. This is not about buying anymore. Because I look, they've
so
got
what-
them. It's more of the case of you haven't got your Van de Ven, which is the key to the component to this.
Yes, like everything.
Yeah.
Like every
But
team.
how do you then make sure that you're tougher to beat, and how can you adapt it so you're not relying on a Ben Davis, a Dragoshin, and a Danso? Well, Danso, where they're not so quick.
It's like, well, you've seen it in Europe. He'll drop deep, and that's the thing. Like, you know, when I watch matches, people forget that within those losses, usually a few times Spurs went ahead, and then they dropped deep and then conceded a goal, or they conceded a goal first and then they were chasing the game. So I think like Angie knows that this season he will have to adapt, and he probably will. He's shown the plan B, and the way he played, like it was like 28% possession
In the final, yeah.
Yeah, grab a goal. So he gets it now. He's like, right, the fans, when I came in here, they wanted fast attacking football, but now they're saying they want this, so I'm going to just balance it. He can afford to balance it now. He knows that, say, come up against Liverpool and Spurs grab a goal, he can sit back and defend, because all the fans want to care about is winning. And I think in the Europa League, he could have, I think that's what caught those teams off guard, like the likes of United. They expect Spurs to press and attack, but he didn't. And so it threw teams off. So now Angie is smart enough, I think, to realise that in the Premiership, if we have to defend, grab a goal, we'll do that. We'll play the boring football to appease the fans. But the thing is, as well, winning that trophy installs belief in every single one of those players. They're champions now. And I think that's going to hopefully see a bigger difference, because no Spurs fans have ever seen that. They've never seen a team after they've won a trophy. We saw a glimpse of it against Brighton. And then I think, the hangover kicked in and everything, like they all stepped up. But at the same time, you looked at that one thing, and that's what I'm looking forward to, is like, right, they're in the Champions League. They want to prove themselves, not to mention the whole season of the stronger mindset. And as far as like Angie getting sacked, that's all those players are behind him. Every single one of those players are behind him. You bring in a new manager, he's already lost the dressing room.
Gonna be interesting. But yeah,
Maron,
yeah. I know you only wanted to come in for 5 minutes and have your say because you were right, and as
no, I didn't say I was right.
Elijah come in and said you were right.
It's not about being right. It's about seeing you guys happy.
Oh yeah, Ash missed that part. Ash completely missed that part, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Ash. Like just before I go, like I was saying, it was great to see you and Marlon hugging and smiling and cheering. It was really good. Just pure positive and happiness. A little bit of shock. Even Showtime Alex he didn't know where to be. And like I said to Maron as well, like when Spurs won, you two are the first people I thought about, because like you've run the stream, you've went through thick and thin. People have avoided the stream. You guys have shown your face and kept going. Yeah. So it's like it was good to see the joy and 17 years of release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, facts. Yeah, man, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, no worries. All right. See you next season.
See you later.
See you later, man. Big up.
Can you now hear us? Now we can't hear him. He's on mute. You're on mute. Just push the button.
Yes, lad. Yes, gents. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Finally, we made it.
Finally.
Okay. Yes.
Go on, Ash.
Yeah, man. Big up, man. First of all, man. But yeah, just talk to us about, your thoughts and feelings about Ange, the win.
So yeah, I'm going to start with the win. Complete elation, joy, happiness. I shed a tear in my front room. I was genuinely, I was so happy. This is all I've been asking for a very long time. So really happy with the outcome. Obviously, we're still on cloud 9. We're still celebrating, and you know what I mean. Long may it continue. We do have some tough times ahead. I'm aware of that with everything that's going on with Ange. But yeah, man, for the moment, we're just soaking up that glory. Come on, you Spurs.
Oh, man. So let's talk about that Ange, man. Where are you with the whole Ange business?
So, I had a bit of a passionate rant in our group recently, and I did say that I'd come on here and sort of extend on that. Now, I just think that I'm probably going to say.
What's your rant about? I want to know what your rant is about.
Okay, sorry. You're not in the group. Okay, all right, cool.
Come on,
So basically, my rant was, Marlon. My rant was basically saying, how can we sack a manager that just won us a European title? Doesn't make any sense.
It's where my head's at a little bit with that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I just want to make a massive disclaimer before I go into anything and saying the losses this season, finishing 17th, it's unacceptable. It's not good enough. So I'm not sitting here saying, forget that just because we won the European trophy. But I do think that there's an element of madness if you want to sack a man that has given us joy, giving us happiness, which is, as Spurs fans, something that we don't really know about. I even said to the group, and a lot of you might disagree with this, but prior to, and I'm going to say prior because I wouldn't have used that word up until us winning this trophy, we're not a big club. And a lot of people don't agree with me when I say that. And the reason I say that we weren't a big club, I think we are now, because we won a European trophy. We weren't a big club because we hadn't won anything. Football is about winning trophies. Football's not about finishing third or finishing fourth or getting to the final and saying, we nearly did it. It's about winning trophies. And we haven't done that in a long time. So this mentality that we've got as Spurs fans,
mentality of the club.
Basically, this mentality that we've got as a club and as Spurs fans that we should be finishing fourth and winning the European Championship. No, it doesn't work like that. Like I said, 17th is not good enough, but Andrew's got us past the line. Let's see what he can do. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that we give him a whole season. If he's stinking up the gaff by October, get him out. But equally, I think sacking a man that has won you a European trophy is ridiculous. That's my standpoint.
So you're
angry. Hold on. Just on that. On that, because you just said something that I probably said. But the counter argument, look, if he's thinking out the place by October, does that mean we then have a list of managers that we can't realistically get because we haven't given them the summer, and we then, we've basically a bit like Conte, where they need a full season, they need a whole pre-season, and we've missed out on other managers because they've gone to other clubs because they're like, you know what, I want to start from pre-season.
Yeah, very good question, Marlon. And the reason I say it's a good question is because you're right. That I think a manager would need that sort of time to bed in and have a pre-season, etc. But what I was saying to the boys as well is as part of my rant is, where as Tottenham fans are quite emotional because we're like, get him out, he's lost all these games. Okay, but who's going to come in? Who are we going to get to manage Tottenham Hotspur? Glasner. Is that who we're saying we're going to get? We're going to get Glasner.
Well, Glasner probably won't come halfway through. Like the names that everyone's throwing about, Thomas, Frank, Glasner are not going to come. They probably going to come now, and it's probably now or never for them.
Yeah, I don't think Glasner will come. To be honest with you, and I'm to be honest with you, I don't know too much about the other geezer, but let's just say he does come. He's not winning anything in his first season, but I don't think he's going to get us top 4. So we're basically going to throw away Ange to restart again. And we're gonna have to give this guy 2 seasons anyway. We gave Ange 2 seasons and he won us a trophy. So what are we talking about? Arteta's been at Arsenal for 5 years. He's won 1 trophy.
So are we saying then, because I think where the argument is being going back and forth with Spurs fans is, if you get rid of Ange, you're starting again. But some people are saying, will Ange win another trophy in his next year, or is Ange good enough to get into the top 5 basically? And will we have 5 spots next season? Will it be 4 spaces like it is normally? Because you used to say we're going to have 5 spaces again. So that's the question. Is he going to take us from 17th all the way up to 4th? And then how does that impact the other cup games, like the Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup? If we're performing well in the league, can we get over the line in the cups? So then like with the new manager, if a new manager was to come, would he be given the same amount of time Ange was given? And if he replicated and moved us up the table in the first season, got us, 7th or 8th, and then the following season he got us to Champions League, would that be more acceptable? Or would people want a cup win for the new? I'm trying to say.
Actually, the question is more. So if the new manager comes in, what's the realistic expectation? Because you're replacing a man that's just won the UEFA Cup. So is it going to be, if he finishes 7th and 8th, and say he's knocked halfway out of all cups, and we just make it at Champions League group stage? is that good enough for people because he's done better than Ange in the league? That's the question.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. We'd be going backwards because we're going to get a new manager and the likelihood of winning something in his first season and finishing top four is going to be very slim. So we've gone back slightly. So now we've got to pray that in the second season, he does what Ange has just done for us. So so this is what I'm saying about us as a fan base. We kind of don't know what we want. Oh, we never win anything. We need a trophy. We get a trophy. Oh, he's got to go. So it's like, okay, cool. We're going to get another manager and he's going to have to start again. And then we're going to be in that same position maybe for about 2-3 seasons. It doesn't make any sense. I'll be honest with you. I think this is what should happen. I think next season, Ange should be backed a little bit more. I think we need a few more players. By the way, no one's mentioned the fact that we haven't had a 6 all season. That's going to help as well. Maybe we buy an actual 6. That's going to help. So I was going to say away from that, maybe we buy a 6. That's going to help. But also as well, yeah, gents, I just think that if he's backed and he's given a bit more time and he's got a clear agenda of what we should be trying to achieve, I think he does actually win another trophy next season. Whether that be the Carabao, whether that be the FA, I'm telling you, I think he wins something else. And I just think that as a fan base, and by the way, I'm not saying at the detriment of coming next season 18th. God forbid. I'm saying I think we move higher up the table and we win another trophy. And I think that as a club, that's the trajectory we should be looking at going forward. I think getting another manager's going back because he's not going to do anything.
Would you take 10th and FA Cup then? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
Because basically, I think a lot of fans, their expectation is that we do get Champions League football, because when you get Champions League football, you acquire better players, if that makes sense.
Of course, yeah.
You
of course.
Quality.
Does that not determine, just a quick question on that, does that not determine what we do this summer then, as in player-wise?
Yes.
Because
100%.
Because you're right. We're meant to acquire better players, but if we go out and stink the place out with the summer transfer window, and it's going to be
very possible.
Yeah, which is very possible. What's then the expectation for next season, even for the new manager?
Yeah, and I think this is where I say that if Ange's to stay, he needs to be backed. I'm not saying that Levy's going to give him 300 mil to play with. Of course he's not, but he needs a 6. I would arguably say, obviously, we need another right-sided player. I would even argue as much as to say we need another striker. I think Solanke did better than I expected this season. But again, if he gets injured, we're kind of finished in that area as well. We haven't got another out-and-out striker that is proven anyway. We could obviously say Scarlett, but, I think we need another striker. I think we need a few players.
There's someone on the right, so you're not happy with what? Your guy,
Brennan Johnson, can I tell you something? Triple BJ, let him land. That is my guy. Yeah, anyone who knows me know that that's my saying. Let him land. And the reason why, listen, for me, he's player of the season. For me, personally. I don't care what Spurs fans think. 17 goals. Listen, tap-ins or whatever.
AB, I was with you. I was with you with Ange. Now I'm like, Ange's got to go because just because of that BJ comment.
Do you know what it is? No, I know, yeah. And the name that I've given him is a big pause. But I'll be honest.
That's the best bit about him is his name.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Baby boy Brennan Johnson. That's what I call him. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you why. Like, obviously, he's got all these goals for us. His contribution's been good. Yeah, he's been inconsistent at parts in the season. But I think our whole team has. So to pick him out and say, oh, he's been doing this, is madness, because there's lots of other players that have been the same. So for me, he's been probably arguably one of our most important players because of goal contribution. And we're forgetting he just won us the European. I'm not just saying just him, but he scored the goal that won us the European trophy. So it's like, what do Spurs fans want? It's weird. It's like, as a fan base, we're like, oh, we want these super techie wingers that do all this stuff. But then maybe their goal contribution isn't as great. Because he's not the player that I just described, but he scored 17 goals and he just scored in the final.
Do you think, on that, sorry, just quickly on that, do you think that he's a detriment to Solanke because his assists and actually setting up is the part that is really lacking, which means Solanke doesn't get enough goals, which then people look at Solanke and go, what are you doing?
I'm going to have to give it a hard no. And the reason I'm saying that is because, not just because of my feeling towards Brennan Johnson, because I do think no. I'm a football purist. Anyone that knows me, they'll tell you I'm a football purist. I just love football. I obviously love Spurs, but I love football. But I'm going to tell you this: I watched Solanke quite in detail this season because I had a bet with Phil, and Phil managed just by the scrape of his teeth to win it. He said, I reckon Solanke will get 15 goals this season. I said, not a chance, and he did. But Solanke could have had 25 goals this season. His finishing's quite hit and miss. So I don't think it's naturally just down to Brendan Johnson, or even the player that plays on the left, be it whether it be Son or Tell or whoever. I think he's had chances this season, and we're like, you know what, he just hasn't scored. So I think his finishing needs to improve. I do think he's a good player. It's weird because I watch him play a lot of the time in the season. He doesn't play like an out-and-out nine. It's weird. He plays like a false nine almost, in my opinion, which is why I say that I think we need another actual deadly finishing nine, and Solanke to be there as well. That's just what I think. But yeah. So no, I don't think it's just down to Brendan Johnson's lack of assists, or even that it's just coming off the left-hand side. I think Solanke's finishing needs to be better, personally. Because I watched him a lot this season. He could have had way more goals than he's had. He's been injured as well. I'll give him that as well. He's been injured.
Big up, man. All right, have you got any other things you want to get off your chest before you go?
Yeah, man. I just think that, please, boys, like when I come off, like I'm still gonna watch whatever. Big up Marlon, big up Ash. Every time I watch you lot, every week on my TV. My missus thinks I'm a madman. I come upstairs late every Tuesday. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching the guys." So yeah, big up Spurs Kings TV every time. Last thing I want to say is this: let's give Ange a chance. Like I said, if he's stinking up the gaff by maybe October or so, then maybe we have to part ways. But I think to get rid of a manager that just won us the European trophy is absolute madness, and that's it.
AB, thank you as always, man.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me, guys, and I'll be back on soon, man. Respect. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
No worries.
Cheers.
Can I get this done all good? Alfonso!
Yes, sir.
Yes, brother.
What are you saying?
Oh, you good?
Can't complain. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good, man. I'm well, man. Let's just get straight to it, man. Like,
Sure.
where was you in the final? Where was you watching it? How did you feel? Did you go to the parade?
Yeah. I was with the NSO guys, and Philip and my brother. So we watched it in a pub in Knightsbridge.
Okay.
So I linked up with them, watched it there. After the final, me and my brother drove up to Tottenham. We're there hugging all the lads at Chicken. Yeah, cool. And then for the parade, I went there, one of my boys from secondary school. And yeah, just lived it. We got front and center at the stage, watched the boys talking all their smack. Johnson was waved, Maddison was talking, Son was swearing. I was like, oh, Son swears. So yeah, all very lively.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird one, isn't it? Seeing Son, I couldn't picture it before the game. Him actually lifting the trophy, and I was like, I just can't see it. When he did it, I was like,
I want to see Son's armpits.
Oh, yeah. But like, finally, it was like, it wasn't an AI generated image.
Right.
Him and Ange lifting the trophy. It was real life. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I thought that was crazy. That was mad. But yeah, man. Finally, European champions.
For sure.
We might as well go straight for the kill, man. Like, unless Marlon's got something else to say.
No, carry on.
No, I'm going to say about the Ange situation. You obviously heard AB just then. Where do you sit on this debate, man? How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, there's a divide, and I can see why. But where I stand with things is 22 losses is insane. There's no way to gloss over it. People are saying, oh, but this and that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Man, have come in here and been like trying to angle it in a certain way. Absolutely not. Bro, there are teams. I'm seeing stats from 1914. I'm seeing pre-World War I stats that we're beating. And people are saying, it's okay because, no, absolutely not. Thank you so much, Angelos. This European trophy, it means a lot. It means I watched it with my brother. Me and my brother have suffered with Spurs for years. When that whistle blew, my eyes almost went wet. I had to one tear came out on my left.
Hold it back like that.
Say again.
You had to hold it back like that. You had to lift up your head.
Yeah, suck it back in, revert it. It meant a lot. No one can. I think is no one can ever take this from Ange.
No.
He said, "I win my second season," and he done it. But please, my bro, 22 losses is absolutely insane. I'm so sorry, and I said it at the start, around November, December, saying I don't believe that even with our full strength 11, we'd be doing much better. Like the way we're playing football, even when we have Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, Udogi, Vicario, there's still no midfield, and we're still getting sliced through. So
like, because I was been asking this question for a minute, and I'm saying, what is the biggest tactical flaw for you for Ange? Like,
the thing is, every game is the same, isn't it? Like every game, it's the same. And I think it's what I mentioned earlier about the lack of midfield. We're just so easy to cut through. Teams do not have to work hard to cut through us. There are times where, before you even load up your stream to watch a game, we're already 1-0 down. Like, we're just so easy to play against. We're so easy to cut through. And I think that's my biggest gripe. Like, and there's always like the lack of goals we're scoring. There's also like the lack of attacking threat that we have. There's also like the way the fullbacks are playing. That's just like all of it. It's I don't think there's any sort of like silver lining to how we play. And I think that shows with 22 losses. And I can't stop saying it. Like 22 losses is nuts. And in any other season, to not hit 40 points, we would be in a relegation battle. Like we would have gone into that Europa League final in other seasons, like unsure of our status for the next season.
Yeah, but how does Levy get around it? Because I feel like there's a lot of the fan base that are behind Ange now, and also the fact that players are all coming out saying they're behind the manager. You know, Romero's come out, Madison's come out. You've got Gray, Bergval. Like there's new, even Porro put up a post and he's on Ange's shoulders, like, you know what I'm saying, like a little kid. So, how do you explain that one?
Yeah, I won't ever be a mouthpiece for Levy. So what Levy has to do is what Levy has to do. I couldn't care less. He doesn't deserve any sort of sympathy from me in that regards. I get why it's a techie one. I do get that, like, some players are showing some sort of like support for Ange. I can see why. Like, he's done it. Like, he's bought them that silverware. And I'm sure as a person as well, I bet as a person, I bet Ange is top. I bet he really is a great guy as a person. But I just think it's unsustainable. And I feel like part of me is like, you know what? It would be great to give him 3 months. My brother was saying give him 3 months to play and do what he's doing. And then if by like October international break it's not going well, we sack him. But the thing with that is if we do that, it just means whoever we get in next will then have to like go through this whole rebuild process. They have to wait for them to have a full season, then have to get their players in. I think we should just say thank you, Ange, and cut our losses. And the players have to be professional. The players might love him, but if you get a new manager in, you then play for that new manager, like everyone else would.
So if the new manager does come in, as I believe you want, what's his remit for next season?
It's got to be a push. He's got to go far in, like, he's got to do well in the league. So he's got to go for like at least top 6 in the league. Mm-hmm. I think he has to have a decent cup run. What happens
if he goes out early in the 2 cups? Say he goes out early in both cups, like Ange did in his first season. The Champions League is a write-off, as in we get knocked out of the big long group. But he finishes 5th or 6th. Would you be happy?
Not with like. I don't think I'd be happy to come out first in, like, come out quickly in all 3 competitions. No, I wouldn't be happy.
But that could be realistic. The reason why I'm asking because when you look at Poch, some of the time he was going out the cups quite early, and then we were having great seasons after that. And when we were kind of I can't remember how many semi-finals he got to, but when he was getting through semis, but we were still finishing around the top 4. Yeah. But we just wasn't competing.
Yeah,
for these trophies.
And I hear that, but I don't subscribe to this notion about that Spurs fans have, where it's like we either do well in domestically, like in the league, or we do well in cups. Like, yes, it's been true, but I don't think that should be like our ultimatum. I think there's a world where we can.
But there is a world, but the problem we've got is in the last 25 years, that ultimatum under this ownership has only been that. The 2 times we've won a trophy, 17th, and we were finished. We were bottom because we went and sold our 2 best players to Man United and Liverpool in the summer. Yeah. So we were bottom with no wins. So that's the reason why that notion suddenly come about because actually Spurs have proven they can't do 2.
Yeah, which is sad. It kind of puts us in a tight spot because, like, you're giving me this kind of like question about a new manager.
Yeah. And people say we're big enough. I get what people are saying. We're big enough and we should be competing. So I'd love that to be the case.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for me, in the 25 years under Levy and Enoch under this ownership, they have never shown me that they can do one or the other. And that's proven this season. I think that was probably the worst thing that could have happened to them, winning that Europa League, because we did it in another season where we've been crap.
Yeah.
So,
and even with that, it's almost like fans were some rival fans have been saying that they wanted Spurs to win the Europa League rather than United, and their reason being that if United win it and get CL football, they're going to push on and try to build.
That was my thing, yeah.
Whereas for Spurs, we'd get a Europa League final and win the title, and then just be like, oh, okay, let's just try and keep
as we're being, and we can't even decide if we want to keep the manager or not.
Yeah, like I think the window opens in 4 or 5 days, and we're still not sure if Ange is going to be here. And I think regardless of my feelings towards Ange, if we come out and say Ange is here next season, I'll be a lot happier than this kind of limbo. But at least then we know, all right, let's work towards our transfer targets. Like we're seeing United, who we beat in the final and who've had a terrible season like us, are going after like Embuemo and like Kunha and all these sort of things. It's like, you know what? That should be us. Like we just won the final, and we're here just thinking about if we're going to have a manager or who's it going to be, which is like my biggest gripe with Spurs. Even like after all the elation, it's like now after it's like, okay, let's push on. Okay, we got our Europa League final. Let's at least wait another 7 years we get until the next one.
Yeah, no, completely understand. So if Ange was to be in charge next season, so say on August, the first game in the Premier League, he is in charge, would you be slightly disappointed, or would you be like, you know what, I get it, but we've really got to really, like, as long as we've backed him as well. Say we've backed him too. Say we actually backed him. What would be your realistic targets for next season if it was Ange?
Yeah, I think my first thing would be, I would be a bit disappointed, but I'd understand it. Like, I'm saying what I'm saying, but I'd also be like, if he stays, I can understand it. I can fully understand it. So I'm not going to be like, oh, he should definitely be gone. I feel like he should be, but I understand if he stays.
Yeah.
I feel like he has to do, I think he's got to do really well in at least one of the other cups. I think the league form has to improve dramatically. I think he has to go for, to be fighting for top 4, to like even get rid of the stench of this season. But I think in one of the cups, be that Carabao, FA Cup or Champions League, he has to have like a really deep run alongside it. It can't just be the league form improves, but then we just do nothing. I think it's got to be a really deep run in one of those.
The last question before I let you go. If Ange was replaced, who's your ideal candidate at the moment? Who in your head have you seen? Not to say, look, I'm not going to say he's going to do well, but who have you thought, you know what, I think he could come into this club and turn it around and get us from 22 losses to say 10?
That's my favorite question, because the answer is no one. I stopped maybe like 2-3 years ago. I stopped the whole idolizing what manager could come in next, because I realized that all of the Excel sheets and all of the analytics, it's all well and good. But the fact is, we had Mourinho, Conte, and Poch. And between those 3 and now Ange, if I said one of them gets us a Europa League trophy, who would we have said? Ange would have been dead last. So for me, if we get Frank or Glasner, all these other names, I think it's all well and good to discuss it. I actually don't care who manages my club.
Yeah.
I don't care to an extent. I don't want Gareth Southgate ever, but I don't care who manages my club. But I just want someone who can actually bring days like we had last week to the club more often. That's my thing. I'm not worried about names or style of football, just results and trophies. Everything else, if we play dinosaur football, couldn't care less.
Are you with me on that one?
Trophies.
Yeah, you're with me. Alfonso, sorry. Thank you for coming on. Make sure you come on again. I'll make sure Ash brings you on again when we do a proper panel show and come and be a guest, because I like what you had to say. But thanks for coming on. Enjoy Spurs. Enjoy this cup win for the next year.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, until it expires.
Yeah. But cheers, thanks for coming on, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you for waiting patiently, Eugene.
What's up, Marlon? How are you, man?
Yeah. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm great.
So, I saw that you're a bit undecided about Ange.
Yeah.
First of all, actually, before I even ask you about Ange, and I don't want to ask you about Ange, I don't know why I even started there. Where were you watching the final? How did you enjoy it? What have you been doing since?
So I watched it twice. So first I watched it in the pub with my supporters group. The funny thing is we share the pub with the Man U supporters group. I'm like, oh man, this is the first time we're going to be there together. But the Spurs fans, we outnumbered them like 7-1 maybe. And it was weird. Like the energy wasn't the same. They were like, yeah, just another game, just another final, where we were going crazy. Man, the game was over. I was crying like a baby. When I saw Son cry, I was crying again. It was so weird. Like I was telling people on other streams, my teams like NBA and NFL and baseball, I saw 7 championships after like decades of waiting. I never cried ever. This is the first time. It was crazy. Like everybody around me.
Emotionally caught you.
Oh,
Emotionally
it
caught
was
everybody.
crazy.
Caught
Probably
us all
like
off guard.
no, it was like probably like 50 or 60 Spurs fan in the pub.
Yeah.
Everybody was just crying. Like it was pandemonium. Was crazy. So then I came home, and then my son came back from school, and I watched the game with him. And I didn't tell him that I went to the supporters club because he
Yeah.
wanted to watch the game with me. So I had to fake it, and and then he was crying, and then I saw him cry, and then I got emotional again. So it,
All good. But this has
it was
done.
nuts.
Like this is what it's done to everybody. I think everyone emotionally, because I think, and I think you would agree, because everyone went into this final thinking we're gonna win this,
Oh yeah.
and we've never had that. We've never had that before.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
but for it to actually physically happen, and it
Yeah.
actually happened.
Last 10 minutes, I couldn't watch. I could barely watch. I was just thinking, Harry Maguire header. Like this is the only thing that they could have done. Like
Look, Romero
they
got in
had
his head.
nothing.
He was done. Romero got in his head. He
It
was done.
was Romero got to him. It was beautiful, but it was I was super confident for the first time. The only thing was we beat them 3 times. Can we
Yeah.
actually beat them 4 times? But if you just look at the teams, even without our midfield, we were still like the only way I could see us scoring was either from a cross or Johnson getting in the end of the tap in, and that's what happened. But Manu was out of ideas, so it was.
Okay, so we
It,
haven't been able to enjoy the trophy for a week,
uh,
and we're now on the debate. So where
man,
are you? Look, 22 losses in a season. I get it. It's unacceptable, and we do agree. But a man has also brought the first big trophy, big trophy from Europe after 40 years. The first trophy for 17 years. He did say he wins stuff in his second season and has delivered, no matter how bad the season has gone. Where'd you sit on him right now? And I'm just going to throw the emotion part into it. He made you and your son cry and share that moment together.
and that's why I keep flip flopping every hour. Like you know me, like we talked last season, I was engine for the longest time
You
when
were.
everybody was engine out. Then I'm like, you know what? This is untenable. And then I said to myself, it doesn't matter if we lose or win, I'm still engine out. But then experiencing those emotions and then experience and seeing how the players were reacting to Ange. And that's why I just, you know, it's very difficult. My biggest issues with Ange, I mean, we all talked about tactics and, it's, we talked about it all year long, inverted fullbacks, this and that. My biggest issue with him is the development of youth. When he said at the press conference that we gave up on the league in January, if that's the case, why didn't he play Archie Gray at the six? Why didn't he play Mikey Moore? Right, like because
Yeah,
that was the
that
time
makes sense.
play
Yeah.
the youth. So for me, given that we do have a lot of youngsters, I don't see him as a coach. He's a manager that differs, I'm assuming. I don't see him doing a good job coaching us youngsters. So that's my issue. However, I honestly do not know how he's going to approach the tactics next season. We know what he was saying. We know what we did in the league. However, he showed that he can adapt. So whether he changes or not, whether he learned anything from last season or not, I have no idea. And I don't think anybody else knows. With me, whether he stays or goes, it would depend on the alternative, right? Like if Xavi wants to come in, bye, Ange. I love you. You're a legend, but
Off each other.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even with Glasner, right? He showed that he could win a trophy. So with him, okay, I can see that. However, if we sack Ange and bring in a mid-table manager
Yeah.
like Iviola Silva, even Thomas Frank, he's a good coach, good manager, but still, he hasn't won
Doesn't
anything.
yeah, he hasn't got the wow factor.
It's much easier to take like a bottom team and bring him up to like a mid-table position than taking a mid-table team and take him to top four. Right?
All three of them that you mentioned had, well, apart from probably Frank, had a bad end to the season. They literally were linked with the Spurs job, and that was it. They all kind of went off the boil.
Exactly.
So I get it.
Yeah, no. So for me, if we do sack Ange, I want a proven manager who, with a track record of winning. That's the only way it makes sense. But even then, like ultimately, like look at what's happening right now. Liverpool is signing players, Man U signing players, like Newcastle, like all the teams around us are doing something, and we're announcing friendlies in Thailand. Like it's mad that we still have no idea if Ange is in, if Ange is out. I like is Perisic is coming in. When is that happening? Mon Lang, like what's happening? Like it's again, I'm not surprised, but it's disappointing once again that it doesn't seem like we have a strategy for the next season. Like who, scouting, recruitment, who are we talking to? It just doesn't seem like anything is happening. Like what? So if Ange stays or if Ange goes, like people say that Ange cannot compete on two fronts or three fronts. That's the issue, which I agree. But which manager since Poch competed on multiple fronts? Shocking games, even with Poch, with Conte, with Jose, to crap teams. And the issue is that no manager can compete on multiple fronts with the squad that we have. So my hope was, we make a decision on Ange really fast. There is a plan in place. We sack him, we keep him, and we just attack the transfer window and improve. But now it seems like it's going to be the same old. We're going to lowball some teams, lowball for like Eze and Mbuama maybe, and we're going to sign somebody like in 2 months while all the teams around us are getting stronger. So the manager for me is important, but it's everything else. Like it doesn't matter who the manager is. If we don't support that manager, we're just gonna end up in the same place as we've been. So that's for me is the biggest issue.
All right, my last question for you, right? If so, you've said you flip flopped. So say we do get your ideal manager in. What's his remit for next season? Considering that the last manager won a cup but lost 22 games, what's his expectation next year? What does he have to do? Because if he starts off badly, he's going to need some time as well to adjust and get used to this club. If he starts off badly, he's always going to be the guy that came after the guy that gave us our European trophy. So what is the realistic remit for him next season? For you personally, not for the club, for you, what would be your realistic to go, I'm sticking by this man?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Like all the fans are saying, oh, now we want the new manager Ange to get us top 6 in the FA Cup. I mean, we didn't win a cup in 17 years. Now fans are expecting cups every single season. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've said that continuously. Last season, I think, as long as we win a cup, which we did, the league form for me, cool, like 17th. It is what it is. What I want to see is for us to be competitive, year in and year out, right? So just for us to challenge on multiple fronts. We don't have to win, but we need to compete. So whoever, if it's Ange or if it's a different manager, I want to see some progress, with youth, with development of youth, and I want us to be competitive on multiple fronts. Obviously, again, that has to do with recruitment.
Yeah.
But I just want us to, again, like obviously, we're not going to win a trophy. I just want to see us in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years consistently competing for top trophies. Right. So, next season, top 5. I think that would be a good finish, just given how everybody's improving. Just give me a top 5 and a cup run, and the season after, hopefully challenge maybe top 3, top 2. But I want to see some progression. And we've been so up and down that, that's not going to fly. Ange, if Ange stays, finishing 10th next season is not going to fly. We need to see some progression, top 6, top 5 for sure.
Eugene, thank you. I don't know where Ash has gone, but he saw you and he's like, You're like, no, I don't want to talk to Eugene.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what it is. I never talk to him. It's all good. I do take it personally, but it's okay.
No, thank you for coming on, Eugene.
Thanks,
As
Marlon, man.
always, appreciate you always supporting the channel and everything. But
Appreciate
look,
it, man.
we'll see what next season brings us, right?
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited, but I just want to see some. I want to see some action in the window. So, and it's so funny too. Just last thing, it's so Spursy with this fan base. We win, everybody is like excited, crying. Next day, there are like fights on YouTube about engine out. I'm like, guys, let's just enjoy this moment for like 4 days.
Mate, yeah,
But
I
like
didn't even go on YouTube the next day. I was like, no, this is my moment.
next day, people are fighting and like unsubscribing, and I'm like, oh my, like, what is going on? It's mental. But yeah,
Eugene,
all right, man.
thank you so
Talk
much.
to you later.
Cheers, thank you. Miguel Ali, how are you? How is everything?
Good, man.
So the first question I've been asking everybody,
Yeah.
me and Ash have been asking everybody. I don't know if he's coming back or not. However, where did you spend the final? Where did you watch it? And how's your week been since?
On the sofa in the room behind that wall. Yeah, listen, man. We had a wonderful day on Wednesday because I invested my girlfriend into the whole like spectacle of a final. We prepared food. We had snacks. We had drinks. We had everything ready. Yeah, I was stressed as fuck pretty much ever since like Wednesday started, right? But yeah, it was a wonderful experience to actually witness us winning something. My girlfriend was, or sorry, my fiance, not girlfriend.
Oh,
She better not miss.
Gotta get that in, right?
oh,
She was recording me throughout the whole match, right? My reactions, I was just, my default position was like this. I was stressed as hell, I'm telling you, and I can't lie, I was crying like a little bitch when that final whistle went, and I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed.
I'm starting to see a lot of people were. I'm starting to think I was the only one not. But I was so stunned at the time, I literally couldn't speak. It's like you could see my reaction because obviously with me and Ash we are on the team, so you could see my reaction. And I just left Ash talking, and I've never ever just. Whenever I've done this, I've never just stopped talking. And he's trying to get me to talk, and words ain't coming out my mouth.
yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, listen, like overall the whole week was just amazing, right? I consumed so much Spurs content, like the moment that final ended, right? Up until now, pretty much I've been consuming Spurs content all the time, right? Not only like from you boys and other channels, but also like from our official YouTube channel, the club's channel. Like like the vibes are back, right? But yeah, and by the way, I also have to mention I got fucking smashed on Wednesday. Sorry for swearing, but I was smashed off my nut. Like, Ola went to bed, right? She went to bed at like 11 p.m. and I was like, I'm tired, right? I drank like 3 beers or something, right? So I was like a bit tipsy. I was like, yeah, I will check out what the boys are doing, right? And Tottenham away was live, obviously, and Sava was live, and all the others. So I was like, fuck it, I'm joining them, right? And so I brought all the beer I had in the house, sat in front of the PC, drank another 5, and then I picked up the bottle of alcohol and drank it by myself in front of the PC. So trust me, I was so hungover on Thursday. It was a nightmare, but it was worth it. Not gonna lie.
Nice. So, man, we have to ask that question, man. We have to get to it, man. Who was your man in the match? No, I'm joking now.
What, against Brighton, man? I didn't watch the game.
No, it's the old manager question on Ange. Where do you sit with him?
Yeah, so firstly, like I have to say, right, I was one of the people that kept saying every single season I would take 17th in the trophy. And honestly, living through being 17th and then not having the guarantee of a trophy, I can say that was complete bollocks. I will never say this again. Because as much as I enjoyed past week, I definitely didn't enjoy the whole season. Like I'm kind of like, 1 week of pure joy against a year of shame and pain and just depression, right? Honestly, it's still a bit worth it, but the whole like experience is tainted as soon as I forget that. As soon as I remind myself we finished 17th, right? Because honestly, this season has been shambles, right? So you boys are asking about Ange, right, and whether he should stay or not. Like my stance on it is, me personally, I would prefer it if the club got rid of him, but not got rid of him. This is the issue, right? Because like I've been thinking about it, and I don't think the club can sack him, right? I think they physically cannot sack him right now, because if they do, it's a PR nightmare for them, right? Because I think a good chunk of the fan base is heavily behind Ange right now, right? So to put a gun to his head and say leave, right? And just, if God forbid it goes out to the media that they sacked him, right? It wasn't like some sort of a mutual agreement or anything, right? But if it got to the media that they sacked him, like the protests we've seen this season, this would be nothing probably, right? Because then, like all the, and I mean it in a nice way, all the normies, right, in the fan base would actually have a reason to protest against the ownership, right? So I don't think they can sack him. If it was up to me, I would try to make an agreement with him that we want to go in a different direction, whatever, right? Like, thank you for the trophy. That's we will pay you a bonus or something, and all that, right? But I think they will keep him, and I can't say I am against that, right? It's a weird thing. I would sack him, but I don't want, like, I'm not against the club keeping him, right? Because like I think, as much as I said, this season has been like utter shite, right? Like, still the joy that he gave me from that cup, I think that's enough for me to give him a chance, right? It's a really, like, I know it's like almost as I was like schizophrenic or something, like in two different minds, right? But that's basically like how I feel. I can definitely say that I want the guy gone no matter what, right? If we keep him, fine. But then if we keep him, right, all my eyes are on the club in the summer, because like if they don't back him with proper signings this time, like he's effed next season, right? Because like if this was the season that we had 17th with the squad that he had, if we don't support him with like a big chunk of players, right, and good players at that, not some youngsters, then I don't know what he does next season with Champions League and the league. And then if the club does its job, then my eyes are on him, right? And I will be critical as hell of him next season, right? Because I'm not saying like, biased, but like he has to change, because I'm not suffering through another 17th. Like I cannot accept that.
I mean, I want to ask, what is the overarching criteria? What's the minimal like you would expect from Ange? What is it, like 8th? Is it 7th? Is it 6th? Is it to get us back into Champions League? Is it a cup? Considering that we're 17th, and he's come out and he said, if he enjoyed season 2, like season 3 is always better than season 2. Sorry. So like, where do you sit with Ange in terms of expectation for next season?
Yeah. So like the way I look at it, right, is, first of all, he can't really do much worse in the league, because like I don't know, then we get relegated probably, right? So I guess he will do better next season, most likely, right? But no, on a serious note, right? I'm not stupid to expect him to finish top 4 or something, right? I don't think the squad is capable of finishing top 4, and so I won't really, like, I won't judge him negatively if he doesn't get top 4, right? But I think I think and I've always stated it throughout the whole season. I think the squad is good enough to fight for Europe, some sort of European competition. So my expectation would be to be around like top 6. I would say top 6, top 7, because like I look at it like Liverpool, City, and Arsenal are guaranteed top 3 in my opinion next season, right?
Yeah.
So there is like pretty much one spot left, right?
Mm.
And do I think we are better than Newcastle, Villa, Chelsea, and like one other team that probably pops up? Not really, right? I think we are around the same level, but to be around the same level, like I think Ange needs to change a bit, right? And it's really funny because I said the same thing when the previous season started, right? The one that we just ended. I said that I was concerned with the end of like 2 seasons ago, his first season, right? I was concerned with how we were getting like opened up and he didn't really adapt his tactics, kept playing the same shit, right? We were getting like abused on the flanks and all that stuff. So I said at that time that he needs to like work around the opposition, right? He needs to look at the opposition, see what their strengths are, and try to mitigate it with our approach instead of just playing, gang ho, no approach, like no preparation football. I don't know how else to call it, right? So, and I think if he does that, right, if he actually like starts, I don't know, we play against Liverpool and they have Mohamed Salah on the wing, right? Just tell the winger to drop off and provide double cover or something like that, which was something that we weren't doing this season past, right? That is not until the end of the season in the Europa, right? But I think if he starts doing that, I think he can easily be not easily, but he can be top 6 in my opinion, right? So yeah, I think my minimum would be not minimum, but my expectation would be top 6 or top 7, I guess. Like Conference League, I'm kind of like, I can see Conference League with my own eyes. Like I don't know. Actually, by the way, the Conference League is in my city, like the final, right? Tomorrow.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of Chelsea and Betis fans roaming the city. They already smashed up the old town. Like there are plenty of videos of like Betis and Chelsea fans fighting, right? So yeah, it's a bit mad. So yeah, go for it.
Who's your player of the season out of interest? Like who's gonna take it home for you, man?
It's hard to pick player of the season if you finish 17. Honestly, like
I asked it, man, because I know it's a bit of a controversial topic. You can't really have a player of the season, can you? But if you had to choose one,
yeah, it's mad, man. It's like if not for the injury, I would choose Kulusevski, even though like the end of the season was bad from him, right? But like he was good for me until like beginning of January. Then he got injured, then came back, was shit, got injured again, and pretty much that's it, right? So can't really choose him. I think plenty of people are saying Bergval, but I really like the kid, right? I think he's talented. I really like what I'm seeing from him, but player of the season, I'm not sure. Like
he'd be breakout player of the season, wouldn't
yeah,
he?
breakout player of the season, definitely, right? Like kind of based on output, I would say Johnson, but it doesn't really go through.
This tells us
my
the
mind.
season we've had. If Johnson's the player of the
Yeah.
season, then it is what it is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean,
I guess you know what I think that's bias speaking for me because I really love the player. I would choose Pedro Porro, and I know he's been shit for like a big chunk of the season, right? But I always say like the guy played fucking 40 matches in a row, 90 minutes per game, right? And then he started getting shit, so I kind of excuse him for dropping the standard. But I think overall he's been pretty much the only one that was consistently available, playing to at least a decent level. Not every game, obviously, right? But no one in the team was playing to that level. But it's also bias speaking. I fucking really love the guy, right? I think we have a supreme wingback in the squad, and we are kind of underutilizing him, in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of my bias speaking. So for me, I think Pedro Porro, but I understand if people choose Bergwall, for example, right? Because he's like the new shiny toy or something, right?
So are we being linked to Sane? Would you take him?
Yeah. I think I would. Like I'm not like super wowed if we got him right,
He's 29 years old. He's 29.
Yeah, like I think he's like extremely experienced and a good player, but also he's a bit injury prone, and it's like like he's way better than Timo Werner, but isn't it a Timo Werner situation all over again, right? So like I would much rather go for. Sorry, I would much rather us go for someone a bit younger, because like I don't see Sane as a replacement for Son. Like even if Son stays right and plays for 1 or 2 more seasons as a sub role or something, right? Leroy Sane isn't really someone that I'm looking at and I'm like, there you are, the future of that left wing for next 6 years, right? But I think there are plenty of like 23-year-olds or 24-year-olds that have experience that aren't like super expensive, that we could go for, that would actually suit that role, that system, and I would look at them and see like a future in them, right? Whereas with Leroy Sane, I kind of feel like, yes, he's good, he's experienced, he provides like, he provides goals and all that stuff, but I'm like, aren't you a bit of a stopgap signing, right? Like, what do we sign him for, a year or like 2 years, or I don't know, because he's a free transfer, I think, right?
Yeah, he's a free transfer.
Yeah, so I guess they would probably sign him to like 3 or 4 years, right? But am I excited by the perspective of Leroy Sane being the starting left winger for next 4 years? Like, not really. I have to be honest, right?
So
but
if you had a choice between Sane, Grealish, and Rashford, which 2 of those players would you go for?
Fucking hell, mate. What is that choice?
They're available, so
Yeah, between these 3, I gotta be honest. It's also bias speaking. I don't really like Rashford, right? Like, and I especially like I don't like him on the wing. I think he's kind of molded into a really inside forward striker role, in my opinion. It's kind of similar to Son. I don't think he's a good, not like touchline winger, but the further away you put him on the left, I think the worse he gets. And when I look at like Grealish, for example, I think, as much as I don't understand on how Ange like uses his wingers, if we want a winger for Ange, I think Grealish would be the choice for me. But again, like, this is the same thing I said with Sane, right? Grealish is like 30. Like, am I excited by Grealish being our winger for the next 4 years? Like, not really. But I would take him, obviously. I prefer Grealish and Sane over Tel, right? So yeah, that it's hard to like judge it properly. But as I said, me personally, I would prefer like a 24-year-old or something, right? Just go for a 24-year-old, like, get a good, exciting player that scores goals and just put him out there, make him the starting winger, and just fucking, roll the dice, basically, right? I would rather do that than go for a 30-year-old, if you get me, right?
I've got a question for both you and Marlon and the chat. Would you lot take, speaking of ages, Modric?
Fucking in a heartbeat. Sorry, I know it's hypocritical from me, right? But in a heartbeat, in a fucking heartbeat, right?
It depends if I'm being emotional again.
My emotion, is he 39 now?
Yeah, emotion tells me, yeah, but he's not like last season. Probably more I'd have taken him, but from what I've seen of him this season, his legs are gone, mate. It's I can't. I get what people are saying, but we'd need some legs around him. Apart from Sarr, we don't have the legs to be able to warrant what we're trying to get to. And I get minutes and 30 minutes of games, but it'd have to be like a team that can't run. The Premier League's physical, proper physical compared to the Spanish League, and that would be my only worry.
But by the way, I completely agree with you. I just want the shirt with his surname on the back. Like, honestly, like, imagine if you brought him back, right? Yeah. Like, honestly, like the Levy would just have a wank, right, with all the numbers, right?
Yeah,
trust me, like
bring back numbers. Yeah, but no, it's a weird one. I have thought about it, and yeah, that's when my head finally kicks in. Without just in my heart at the moment, but with that, thinking about it, I did think like last year I would have taken him, but I can clearly see from what I've seen of him this season, it's not. Maybe
it's not good.
Yeah, I think I'd rather him go Zagreb and kind of finish at home. That's what he needs to do.
Or Swansea. He bought
Swansea.
Swansea.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Swansea. Yeah.
or like he has some like shirts in Swansea, right? Just that's like, can you imagine Modric in
But
Championship?
doesn't anyone think that Modric being there, obviously he wouldn't play like the full game. He wouldn't be there playing week in, week out. But does anyone think that he might add a bit of experience, be able to teach some of the youngers like Bergval, Archie Gray or whatnot? You think he could be like a good influence in the dressing room as a leader? Or you're just thinking, nah, this is just vibes. This is just absolute. And I'd rather MGW.
It'd be another Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
It would just be a Gareth Bale 2.0. Like, even though Gareth Bale, don't get it wrong, actually did really well. But how many games did he realistically play? And he was there, him and Matt Doherty, Ben Davis and Joe Rodon were just vibing for 4 or 5 months when he was playing. So, yeah.
I don't think he would. I don't think he would cut it in Premier League. Like
it's the Premier League that kills.
Yeah, honestly speaking, I think he's just too old right now. Like definitely, he still has like plenty of talent, right? But you know,
yeah, he's not going to have the impact that Cambiasso had on Leicester.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you remember that? Yeah. How old was he?
Cambiasso, 36, 37, or something like that. He was quite old.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a link now because City are looking at Turkey, innit?
Mm-hmm.
And
been all over that.
Very disappointing, I know. But that opens up the room for MGW. Would you not take him or not?
He's being linked with Arsenal.
Oh yeah, I just saw that as well.
I just saw that literally in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. You're on the fence, Michael? You're not really
ready? It's not that I don't rate him. I don't know. Like,
is he not improved on his skills? If he comes in, he's experienced.
Do you guys sometimes like just don't vibe with a player? Like
played with Johnson before though.
Yeah, like I had the same thing with like Johnson and Richarlison. We bought them and I was like, no, like it's from the beginning, right? Like from the beginning, I was like, there is something fishy about the transfer, right? Like I don't like the price. I don't like, I don't think the squad needs a guy like him, right? And like I get the point, right? Like MJW did really well this season, right? And but I even seen like Forest fans whining about him and being like, just sell him, get the profit, right? Because he constantly loses the ball.
I've seen Spurs fans moan about Maddison.
Yeah, like, obviously, right? So yeah,
he turns too much. I don't like the way he turns. So that's what I've heard about MGW. He takes too many touches. I don't like the way he always wants to pirouette on the ball. So
yeah. I don't know, like I cannot like back it with like concrete evidence or anything. I'm just like, if I was to choose between Eze and MJW, I would definitely choose Eze.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
having that conversation,
but I think Eze would be cheaper, by the way, because like I think Forest will completely fuck someone over with MJW transfer. Like they will get fucking 80 million for him or something stupid like that.
But don't they? Like, are they in FFP some type of trouble, or because they didn't get Champions League? Aren't they in some type of financial...
no clue, mate. Honestly, like they check their situation.
We'll find out on deadline. The deadline PSR day when they're all swapping players again. We'll find out then.
Yeah. But by the way, it pisses me off that every club is doing business and we are just sitting on our ass. Like I'm seeing Verts to Liverpool, fucking Gyökeres to Arsenal in a moment. Like fucking,
This is the reason why the Sane links have come out to keep the fans. I think that's my personal opinion. I think they brought that link out because Spurs fans were getting a bit restless, and they thought if they drop a Sane rumor, people.
Mate, the only actually all them rumors I couldn't care less about. The one that's really pissed me off is Brian Mbeumo.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
That's because
first got me. Turkey first got me, and then Mbeumo really got me, and then that's when I started losing it a little bit. Like,
no, Brian Mbeumo got me because when I look at the clubs that all the other like Arsenal, okay, you're gonna pick Arsenal over us at the moment. City with Shirky, you're going to pick City over us. Verts is never going to pick Tottenham. These are players that are never going to pick Tottenham right now, even if we went in for them. But Brian Mbeumo, I'm telling you, will pick Spurs over Man United.
And it's like it's so mad, right? Because like I don't know what the fuck we are waiting for, right? Like I guess they want to appoint Paratici or something, and he cannot come in until a certain date, right? But what like all the other guys that were working on transfers are like on fucking sick leave or something. Well.
But that's so it's quite intriguing that you brought up Paratici actually, because I think that's the day when he's announced is the day Ange gets sacked.
Yeah, I think so as well. That's exactly what I thought. Exactly what I thought.
So you guys think he will sack him, right? Because like,
yeah,
and Paratici will take the brunt of it.
Yeah. Because like I wanted to ask you guys, like, because like it's all good speculating like what we want and all that stuff, but what do you think will actually happen, right? Because like I think they will appoint Paratici, and I was like dead set on the fact that he will sack him, just like you guys said, right? But I'm honestly not sure at that point, because like the reaction I've seen from like some fans, right, and like overall on like Spurs in the Spurs verse, let's call it, right, like the reaction I've seen to even the thought of sacking Ange, right, I'm not sure if the club will have the balls to sack him, right, and like maybe they will blame it on Paratici or put it on him, right, but then again, like, won't people make a quick like connection between like Paratici, Levy, club, protest, fuck Levy because he sacked Ange or something.
And he was taking the brunt of it. He will, because I've seen it already. I saw Marlon. I saw Jim. Also saw Spurs. Yeah, big up Jim as well. Always welcome back here if you want. Nice guy. But basically, he came out on X and he was like, if they get rid of Ange, go after Levy. And I said, whoa, he's Mr. Nice Guy. If he's coming out and saying that, then look, all those fans that were on the fence with Levy or protecting him, they're gonna go after him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's really weird because all the people that kind of want Levy out kind of want Ange gone. So it's gonna be really interesting how that really does play out.
That's true. That's also true. Yeah. You might have like a different type of
mix.
A new mix.
Mate, when I saw Stell apologizing to Sim, and then I saw Stell actually being quite giggity over everything, I was like, "What the hell? What universe am I living in?"
Can you imagine there is a protest in 2 months because we sacked Ange, right? And there is like fucking 5,000 protesters, and there is Stelios sitting with Levy in fucking sacked Ange. Where's my Ange gone?
We're living in weird times, man, at the moment.
But yeah, on in all seriousness, I think the day Paratici is announced, I think it's also going to be the day that they.
But when's Vinay announced? That's what I want to know.
Soon, same day, isn't he? I think it's the same day. I think it's also.
I thought they might be announced in July. I don't know why, and that's when the second window opens because they're going to do a mini window. But it's not if we don't.
No, ain't there like a 5-day break? It's something so stupid. It's like the window opens on Sunday.
Yeah,
for 10 days for the Club World Cup.
Yeah. And then it closes and opens on 1st of.
So wait, do you guys think we'll sign anyone between those days, between Sunday and?
It'd be free transfers. It'll be
maybe
Jonathan David, Angel Gomez, Cole Peters,
and maybe Tell.
Oh, and maybe Tell being announced that he's going to stay.
What? Because that's 4 players then, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's quite a lot. To be fair.
Yeah, but are they in any positions that we actually currently need?
No, they're not needle movers. I know, like they're not really the guys that's going to get us to the next level. What we need.
I think that's the issue. Jonathan David might be.
Yeah, David, I would like, but
behind it, and if because I think if we pay the wages for Jonathan David as well, that will kind of debunk the whole. Oh, we don't spend the wages on top players. That's why we don't get top quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, like, because like I've heard or I've seen somewhere that David is apparently like linked heavily with Napoli, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
like
right.
There is like a lot of like vultures like circling around him, right? But
yeah, I just honestly think there's a possibility. There's a world that I live in that I can see that we only sign like a Tell, and maybe I could also within those 10 days in it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I thought you were saying about like the whole window or something.
No. Like the first 10 days, and I don't know if that will go.
But there's only just I thought I was correct. So it opens from the 1st of June to the 10th.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a 6-day close in.
Yeah,
and then it reopens on the 16th of June to the 1st of September.
Oh, that's way earlier than I thought.
Yeah, no, I've got it in front of me now. 16th of June, it reopens because the 16th of June is when the fixtures are announced as well.
Yeah,
Premier League fixtures.
Like, I think if we signed like let's say Cardozo and I don't know, like one free transfer, like someone else, right?
Gomez,
Yeah,
Andrew,
let's say Andrew Gomez, right? I think it would satisfy the fan base. Honestly, I would be happy with that.
But all the free transfers can't be announced to the 1st of July because all the contracts finish on the 30th.
Like
so
we will pretty much be like 100% sure. Like they will be fucking here we goes, and the player did the medical, and they just wait to announce it, right? So I guess, and honestly, I would be happy with that if we actually signed like 2 players now, right, in that like 10-day window or whatever. I would be happy with that, right? But then again, like honestly, like you know what the maddest thing is, right? Because like I've been sitting a lot on like Tottenham away with Stelios and other guys, and we are like always discussing Levy and all that stuff, and they are like Levy out no matter what, right? And I've always said, right, that for me, whenever like I support like any club, not only like in football, but I watch Speedway, I watch different sports, right? Like for me, what I want from the managers, the players, the ownership, right, is to do everything in their power to try and win. And if you don't, but you tried your best, right? If you don't, but you tried your best, that's okay with me, right? Like just do what you can, right? Like make smart decisions, play the games right with your heart in it, right? As a manager, do proper tactical setup, watch the opposition and all that stuff. And as a ownership, like buy players, make smart signings. You don't have to sign like 500 million pound players or whatever, right? Just make smart signings. And honestly, I look at this window, right? And if Levy wants to fix anything, like fix his image, this is the window to do it, right? Because I think if he actually properly backs Ange this window, it can shut up a lot of people, right? Because like the most criticism we've given him is that he didn't support Pochettino when he needed supporting, right? That he never prioritized the cups and we don't win cups under him, right? And that he sacks managers too early and doesn't give them a chance to build a project, right? He backed the manager. We won a cup. Now, if he backs him, that's pretty much like main criticisms. I'm not talking about like the elderly concessions and all that stuff, right? But purely like from football perspective, like this is the 3 main criticisms covered pretty much, right? And I'm not saying that absolves like everything that he has done in the past, right? But like if you want to build good relationships with the fan base, that's the way to do it, right? Just back Ange properly. And like I don't want to get excited by this window because then like Spurs always just pants you down, right? But honestly, if we actually like brought in, I don't know, like a striker, a left back, like 2 midfielders and a winger, and like not say 17-year-old kids, but actually like players that can impact the squad, I'm fine. I'm fine with Ange staying. I'm fine with like even laying off Levy for a season or something, right? Just give me like hope that the next season can be great, right? And then like fucking like go for it, right?
Yeah. What would be a mark, like just the last point, we'll finish up, but what would be like a marquee signing for you lot, in your opinion? What has to be, what's a fundamental for the season, to go well?
In Buemo.
Yeah, so Michael,
I wanted it for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
For me, it's either a number 6 or a winger. Like this is the position I think. Oh, and by the way, left winger in my opinion. I think I would really like to see a left winger, like a proper 50 million pounds left winger. Like just go there, like find someone that will play that left wing and make it their position, right? Because as much as I love Son, I think we should start to not like get him out of the squad, but we should start like treating him like last year's of Totti or something, right? Just not playing every single game, but just
if you got a left winger, you get excited, and then for you, Marlon, if you got Embremo, you get excited. You'd be like, right, okay.
Yeah, but I would be super excited for Embremo too, right? But for me, like on the left is a bit more important in my opinion, because like we either have Son or youngsters, right? There isn't like a winger that fits that, like experienced type of thing, right?
Do you know what? In that situation, I'm going to sound really deluded, but if we did sign Brian and Bremo, I'd be happy for Taylor to take the left wing spot.
It's not deluded.
That's fair. That's fair.
You've also got Odegaard there as well. You can play.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I want a number 6, but it doesn't have. For me, it doesn't have to be the marquee. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be. It just needs to be a player that can play there. And we don't have to spend millions in that position. We have to just basically do our research properly, and there'll be a DM somewhere that can play the position that nobody's heard of, or plays for a club that he's not getting the football. It doesn't suit their style. Be something stupid like no one had heard of Pellini, even though he was at Sporting Lisbon. Came in Fulham, did his job. There's other players that Ash has highlighted, like Timber at Feyenoord. Really, their club captain.
Can you imagine the NLD?
Yeah, the NLD
siblings on
be epic. But someone like him could come in, do the job. And there's others like Adam Wharton wasn't expensive as well. So there is other players out there, but it's just a case of us doing our research.
Ravella's a really good player.
The one that's going to cost a lot is Edison from Atalanta.
Edison's a player.
Yeah, like for me, like I really like Varela from Porto, right? I like Ederson. I think he's a beast, but I think he will have like bigger suitors than us, which kind of like makes me a bit like iffy. There is like Hjulmand from Sporting, but I think he will be expensive as fuck. Because that's Sporting, like they always sell for a lot of money. And the Stiller guy, like from Stuttgart, the guy with a big nose that everyone set him up for the big nose.
And Barcelona.
Yeah, Liverpool want him.
We'll end up with Douglas Luiz. We know we will.
I would be fine.
Which is not bad.
I would be fine with it.
I'd be fine.
I think
Locatelli. And Locatelli is the last one I would really like. Right?
I think Kone I think is gettable. But anyway, there is a player that we are linked with, and he looks just like Bergvall, plays just like him.
I don't want a pretty boy in midfield, though.
You know the boy bands. I think this kid could potentially put real competition on his head, bro. I'm being serious, but I'll save that for like maybe another show or something.
Cool. But Michael, thank you for coming on. You're the last guest, and we kept you on for ages. Save the best till last. Thank you for coming on and supporting the channel as well this year as well, man. Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure as always, boys. Sorry for keeping you so long, but I tend to just talk for fucking hours. So. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers, boys.
Peace.
What have I done?
Trying to do the transition.
Yeah, I've done it all wrong. Hold on.
Yeah, as we're doing that, I might as well just let the people know, like, this is one of our. Oh, here you go.
Yeah. Right. So, you know what? Let's celebrate in style, and this needs to be the anthem for the next year. The absolute anthem. I'm hoping that we can hear it because I haven't tested the sound yet. But
it'll work, man. It'll work.
But let's see how this goes.
It's going online. Come on. Big up, man. Big up. Emotional one. It's been an emotional one, man.
It's been an emotional one. To get everyone on, celebrating the win has been brilliant. And actually, thank you to everyone that's joined us in today as well in the comments. I just want to say thank you for the whole season. Everyone who subscribed, comment, left us a note. Like, without actually you lot subscribing and watching us and actually making this happen, there's a lot of stuff me and Ash wouldn't have been able to do this year, personally as well. Like, some of the stuff we've been able to get on, like, we've been invited onto big channels, we've been doing this, we've been doing that. But it's only thanks to you lot in the chat and everyone that subscribed. As Ash always says, tell people about us. Let us know. As AB said, he has us on the big TV every Tuesday. Tuesday's a show we know you love. I know Rivals is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Rivals is tomorrow, back with a bang. But actually, just want to thank every single Spurs fan, even non-Spurs fans that come in the chat and watch us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Also, big up to the people that weren't able to get onto the chat. I saw there was a couple people in the back that, you know, came and left, but we'll get you back on. We'll do something similar.
We'll do something similar,
not too far distant future, but like, yeah, we're
because I'm gonna eat this up for the next month or so.
Yeah, this is
as it is, because that's it for me until July. You won't see me now until July. I'm taking a break because it's been a hard season. Ash will do what he needs to do, but I've told him he needs to take a break as well.
I will take a break as well.
He needs to take a break.
Am going to do sneaky.
But Ash can't stay away. He loves doing the
the
transfer stuff. He went back to the transfer.
I've been biting at the bit. So there's so many players to get through. But yeah, man.
But what will happen over next month? Ash will probably go live when he's ready. It won't be a set day, and we'll go. And then when July starts again, we'll start doing Tuesdays again, or when you can. But you'll go live whenever you need to, won't you?
Yeah. But like I am going to try and stay away for a bit and you know, recharge.
Yeah. We need to recharge. I think that final took everything out of us, man.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Big up Christian, man.
Big up Christian. Thank you for the love. It's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And also, I personally just want to thank Ash as well, because it's been a hard season. A hard season.
Isn't it?
And it's been how we've got to do these shows and just kept going. And we've grown. We've grown as well. Like, the unexpected growth has been amazing. But if we're being honest, it's not our panelists that have made it. It's actually everyone in the comments that have made it for us. It's been absolute pleasure. But look, we are Europa League champions. You know, that was, look, for me, the parade on Friday, I will never, ever, look, I said this on We Are Tottenham TV the other day as well. Give me the parade over Norwich any day of the week.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. And big up Rambro as well. Thank you for the super chat. But look, make sure you look out for the stuff that we're doing. Look, we'll load up shorts and stuff. We'll do other stuff over the summer. Everyone's asking us what we're doing, but I've said, look, we just need to recharge our batteries.
Yeah. Any feedback is welcome as well, as always.
Any feedback.
Please, everyone.
Yeah.
But, you know, we are Spurs, just fans at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Just trying to give everyone a platform to voice their opinion. So,
and we've had some guests this year. Like, we've had some good guests.
We have.
We've had a variance. I think one of the shows that always stands out was when did we had the day that was, you weren't here actually. It was when Savile was on.
Yeah.
And he came in and he was like, everything had happened.
Oh, with Hippie.
With Hippie.
Yeah.
I hadn't known what happened.
Yeah.
But we got him for a good hour and a bit, we got him to step away from what had happened. He didn't have to think about it, because actually he was so engrossed in the show in the end, he forgot that everything else was happening, what else was happening in the community and stuff like that. There was moments where we've had Stella on at times having arguments with people. When we had also Spurs on, Jim. Do you remember we had Jim?
Yeah.
Who else did we have on?
Oh, big up Sava.
We had Jim and I've forgotten his name now. That was probably one of the epic shows that we had.
Yes.
And Jim was
on his name as well, but yeah, big up to the young fella, man. Hopefully we can reunite as well, man. He was really good, man. And there were so many debutants this season
that we never had before.
Yeah, big up Dan. Big up Dan, man. Now I'm saying Dan Analyst.
Dan, because it was here where he started at the beginning of the season, wasn't it?
He first came on and he asked me straight, like, about the transfer window. He said, "So what? Do you think this is good enough? Do you think we're going to get these players?" Like, and he was dead serious. He wanted to know, and I don't have the answers, bro. I'm just trying to give out the solutions. But and that's the reason why I do the shows. Hopefully, like, someone looks at one of my mad transfers and they think, yeah, actually, you might have a point. I mean, well, obviously, it doesn't always work out like that. But yeah, man, big up Dan. And he started his show. I know we had Luke as well.
Yeah.
Luke started his show.
Elijah was the massive one after he drifted and tore
Yeah.
Henry apart,
Elijah, big
and
up
we
Elijah.
managed to get him on. And he said today, if it wasn't for us, he wouldn't have made his YouTube channel space as well. So big up to Elijah as well. Jacob as well. Jacob from United Spurs of America. He's had a transition, but every time he's come on, he's done it. J Raid R, Deji when he's been about.
Yeah. Those guys there coming back. Remember when Perchy came back?
Perchy came back. We had him on.
Yeah.
Danny Kiriaki when he said, "I'm going to start streaming again." He was like, "Can I come on? Can I come on?" And there he was.
Box office.
Box office has been epic.
Being mad this season. Like, he's been crazy, but in a good way, of course. We love him, man. We love Box Office. We've got time for him, man. And any type of fan, even the man's in the chat. I can't even remember everyone in the chat, but there's been guys in the chat keeping us on our toes as well. You know what I mean?
Even Ashley, the famous Ashley.
Ashley's been he's been
getting at us sometimes. He's been getting at us.
I love it, man. It's all love, man. We're all like, at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, innit? Yeah. We all want us to have that moment that we had in the sun that Friday. Do you know what I mean? That's what it comes down to, isn't it? Yeah. And we want to be successful at the top of the table, on the right table, and be able to wear I was wearing my Spurs shirt all weekend, bro. All people saying congratulations, well done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of congratulations.
So we deserve it, man. You know, it's not many times we've had in our lives, you know, people have given us flowers. So guys, if you're in the comments or you're watching this back later, make sure you put your Spurs shirt on, man. Pick up the chest, man. Well, a big club, man. Like the numbers that turned up, sensational, bro.
No, it was brilliant, and I never thought I'd see it. Even as a Spurs fan, like I'm in this, like we're in this bubble, especially in this YouTube bubble. But seeing that, I knew why I love this club.
Yeah.
Especially when it was quite funny when I was at protest. I keep going. When I was at the parade, I happened to bump
protest. You forgot about that, the protesting season as well, bro.
Yeah. I'm actually bumped into neighbours, people that live down my street who I've never spoken to in the years that I've lived where I've lived. And my neighbours were there, and they basically said, "Yeah, stay here. That's our neighbours." And we've never ever spoken until this point, until we got to the parade. Like that is how much it brought us together. And speaking of people, Dan E. He owes me money.
Pick up Danny.
Him and Andrew owe me money, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the whole Sonny being dropped for the final? But then I also owe money. Like me, Dan said, Andy and Dan have both said they'll pay money into charity, and I owe money to charity as well. Because when Andrew was appointed, do you remember what I said?
No, what did you say? Remind me.
I said that Andrew won't win anything under Levy.
Oh yes, you did.
I did. Remember Matt was on one of our original guests, and I said, he went, if it happens, put money into charity. He reminded me. So, I will be doing that when we start the new year, when we come back in July. But a big up to Last Word on Spurs, and also We Are Tottenham TV as well. Have been massive helps to this channel. Yeah. Massive helps. Pleasure. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs, man.
Oh, but make sure Rivals tomorrow.
Yeah, tune in, man. Tune in.
Rivals tomorrow, because you're keeping that up, isn't it? I think that's gonna carry on once you've had your break.
I'll see, innit? I might take a couple break. I'll have a chat with the lads, see what they're saying. If the man them are on it, can sort something out.
Toon can take it, or Mitch can if you need to.
Yeah.
All right. They really want to carry on. But thank you to everybody. Please like, subscribe, and comment.
Mason to West Brom, hell yeah.
Yeah, Mason to West Brom. Come on, let's go. We are now West Brom fans. Now, big up to you all. Thank you for the super chat. Let me bring up the super chats one more time before we go, just so that we appreciate. So Christian A, big up, love the show, love you too, love when you're in the chat as well. And Rambro, again, you've always been a supporter of this channel, so big up, Adrian. Have a safe, fun summer. And you too. And like we both said, Ash said, wear your Tottenham shirt with pride for the rest of the year, because football's been good to us this summer. but it's not always. So I don't know how long this will last. But let's go. But come on, you Spurs.
Love.